know what it is, the Front Left podcast, Front Left of all conversations. You got myself, Tez, and I'm joined with
Trick or Treat, Josh LFTS. What's going on?
And we got two special guests in the building.
Come on, my Yoruba brother.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I like that.
Thank
We
you.
got a returning guest as
Hello,
well.
what's good? You
Come
got
on,
good
Gaia, Jama,
Hello,
man.
hello.
After
Gaia,
Drake
G.
shouted you out in his track, he's like, oh, I want my Jama. I was like,
Hello.
Also
what's
known
good?
as G33.
G33 in the building. Every time.
I feel like I'm in a bashment race. Go, one man, two man.
Introducing Vanessa Bling.
Where's
As
it?
Gaza
No.
said. I don't know what you're going to say.
Come on, the song you've been singing every
Because a
single day.
boy like me.
Okay.
Me no man.
Okay.
Me no man. Yeah.
'Cause, like,
We've been playing that every
non-stop.
See, I
single
thought you was
day.
both gonna flop there. He was like, you know what song? You were looking like, oh shit.
Really, like there's every day, like we don't really sit in silence. Like every day he'll be playing some song. Like Kolade's doing this, curating this like playlist at the moment.
Okay.
So he's like getting loads of like music together. There's always just music playing. So when he was like, you know the song, I'm thinking, bruv, which one? We listen to about 20
300.
different songs a day,
So
and every day he'll be like, listen to this song, and I'll be like,
You remind me of how we used to be like on Welby.
Yeah.
Every day used to just be different
Sick,
music.
innit?
When we used to live together.
We never used to watch TV. It was just music.
love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
We like, should we watch a show? And then we just
Nah.
never end up watching it.
No. There's so much joy in music. It
Yeah.
feels
So
like,
much joy.
Therapeutic.
like my whole vibe could change by listening to like a set kind of genre or something. Like when we used to all live together, it was mad because it was like 5 boys in a gaff, but it was like when you start playing on the music, everyone's going, yeah,
Lit,
starts
lit,
going now,
lit.
man.
Hold on, you two have started DJing as well.
Yeah,
Big
I'm
up.
I'm
A little
becoming.
bit.
Nah, you put a mix
Still a
out.
bit, still a
We're
bit.
gonna let you
Okay,
know.
still a something.
A mix out.
Yeah,
Just
man.
a little you got the one in lockdown, innit?
Yeah, Guy, you inspired me, man.
G33.
Little shellings and that,
Baby
you know what I
J.
mean?
Come on.
Little Front Left.
But ours is different to yours, so we're in competition.
Oh, I know.
I've done a few.
What's your name?
Who, man?
DJ name, yeah.
Wait,
I thought
you know.
I thought the sickest name ever for
was it?
myself.
What was it?
Oh.
Unity, bringing people together through music.
Okay.
Come on.
I don't know, I thought of a couple in
UNITY.
it. So I thought of one called so the one I had in my head, it would have been called Raime. And Raime in Japanese means thunder. And we always used to say we're gonna bring the thunder.
Hey,
That's
lit.
sick.
That's
So I've
lit.
Never
already
had that before.
got like the logo design and everything. But
There you go.
yeah.
So tell your name. What is it?
Rhyme.
Rhyme.
Yeah.
Rhyme.
Yeah, or
You heard it here
Rhyme.
first.
You heard it here first,
Rhyme.
And
absolutely.
it literally means thunder.
Claim it.
So yeah, and yeah.
I ain't got no name, to be honest.
Teski.
Tessie, that's
Yeah,
me
lit.
for everything. So
Yeah.
I don't really need to switch it up. Personally, I don't think so.
He said,
No,
I
yeah.
don't need to switch it up.
So you're saying
Do you know what? Actually, I have a brand. It's not come out yet, but it's original, and the ORIN, the whole original,
I
stands
thought
for
you was gonna
something.
spell my last name then.
But nah, the original stands for something, but that's coming soon. That's not
Sick.
yet. But when it comes, you'll know it comes.
lit?
I need to jump on board, man.
It's one
Innit?
of them.
Wow,
But anyway, you speak to us about your DJing, because you know
Big up,
the
tell
last
us.
time you were here on this platform, you was just Gaia,
Yeah.
and now you're G33.
It's mad, innit?
Like,
G33 in the building.
Do you know what it is as well with G33? Like, it actually started off as a bit of a joke.
okay.
Okay.
Not that it was a joke, but like, it wasn't really serious, and then it just kind of stuck, and I was just like, I kind of like, because obviously I was doing the acting thing, and obviously I'm still doing it, but it's nice to kind of keep those two things
Yeah.
like just
But
separate.
you could be an international DJ, no?
Yeah.
Yo, you could be. Like,
Yeah,
DJing's
yeah.
a thing. Especially with girls as well. Like, you see, like, who was going to say, who's that woman, no? She came to Inc a couple of times. She's thick. She got body. You know
I
what I'm
actually
talking
think
about?
I know who you're on about.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I'm not Ink's. Like, I don't think I'd ever play it. Like, that's not really my genre.
No, but she plays in a couple of places.
I think I'm a bit more like underground.
That one
She
on
knows the
Unity.
one from.
I know who you're on about, and she plays in like Dubai and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's not
Mad.
really my bag.
What do you want to do? House DJ?
No.
Yo, do it. I'll be at.
I don't
I'll
know.
be
I
having
just like good vibes, and I'm just.
Do you know what, Gaia? I don't know whether you've ever been, but you were meant to play one time with Joshua Brooks. Like, if you'd
Yeah.
ever been to Joshua Brooks back when we were in uni and stuff,
Yeah.
they had a few nights that was specific to
Yeah.
like.
Juicy. I think it's in Liverpool as
Nah,
well.
not
Yeah.
not
No,
Juicy.
I
Juicy's
know
like
what you're on
R&B
about.
and stuff. They had like these kind of nights where they had a mashup of different kinds of genres, where they'd have a bit of garage, a bit of grime, a bit of like, I don't know what you want to call it, Afro swing, funky, all mixed in.
That's what I like.
And when I hear your mixes,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Absolutely.
Gaia takes me back to that.
I feel like I've just
good old
discovered
day.
like not new genres, but like things that are just like fun to mix, and I like mixing.
Hybrid.
Yeah, I like mixing genres, and I don't know, like I want to play in spaces that don't have any judgment and like don't have any dress code and
Right.
just good
Vibes.
vibes basically. And obviously, even the fact that that's even a possibility now is just a bit mad because I've just been doing it in my bedroom for how long, and now
Mad.
I can make money. That's just mad that I can make money, and I've seen it like a little side passion like now turn into profit. I'd still DJ for free. And even in terms of like fees and like budget and things like that, I don't know. People are like, oh, like how much you charge? I'm thinking, I don't know. I love it so much. I do it for free.
Yo,
Just
man,
give it
you
the
need
bag.
to teach me some things, man.
Listen,
I
we'll go
need
to Pirate.
I need to,
We'll go
yeah,
to Pirate
man. I
one
need
day.
to perfect some stuff. So I
we
want to
all
start.
go.
I want to start making into. I want to start getting into the producing bit.
Yeah,
So I
producing.
feel like-
I did that. It's really, really
Like
fun.
my mix is starting to get a lot better, and then because I want to just focus on just mainly house, and like that's my passion and stuff. And there's something that I want to start bringing. Like I named one of my mixes called Summer Solstice, and I want to bring that like into a whole thing next year. Because there used to be a thing called modular. Have you ever heard it before? But it used to bring like summer parties, and it was like mainly house and stuff.
Sick.
But they kind of stopped. But I want to bring something. And now that with all the lockdown, you kind of see like these spaces that people never used before. and, like,
100%.
Right.
it's oh shit! Have I pulled out the cable? Take over.
No, but it's interesting because like you're saying that you're mainly a house, you're a house DJ. Like I think that for me, like it's kind of like it's quite a double-edged sword for me in terms of like the genres that I play because as much as like also now I'm kind of getting a name for like being known as like genre blending, but also that is a little bit of a setback and a weakness as well because I don't really have one genre that I stick to.
But then at the same time, you can.
So you
open
know
up-
your like you know your like portion and whatever, and I'm like I'm just
I don't
this and
think I
that.
could DJ R&B because literally I don't know R&B. The only the people I listen to, if they're gonna say like what kind of R&B music do you listen to, I'll be like, I can tell you like Summer Walking, Hair, and I only know that. I like to sing to them.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like
Like,
fucking
there's a
mix.
difference in what you're gonna
Yeah.
listen to
And
and
But what you're gonna mix as well,
Yeah.
like the mix, like the genres that I like to mix are just genres that make you want to dance. Like
Yeah.
I can't say I've made like a chilled mix. Like
Right.
the music that I play is just that I play out or like I incorporate in mixes is just bug vibes.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting also because you mentioned how I'm curating like this playlist sort of type thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to make it 'cause specifically for... I was going through like with all the Black Lives Matter movement. I just wanted music, like I just wanted music for my soul, like just to like not heal, but just to like feel better. And like it's very interesting listening to different music and how each music like fits in together. And it's like you do have to think about it, like.
But
you
I
can't
think
just
if
put
you love
anything-
music, you can DJ. That is the main premise of being a DJ. You need to, obviously there's the technical side of things and maybe you need some guidance. And I think getting into DJ, especially as a woman, is very, very difficult. It's not accessible. It's really expensive unless you know people and, you know, the equipment's really pricey. And then, you know, as a woman getting into a space where it's a really male-dominated industry is really
Really
difficult. But I think the main premise is if you like music but you love music, you can DJ.
Yeah.
That's
Really and
literally what it
truly.
is. Obviously, you need to learn the technicalities, but
But the baseline.
the baseline is you need to just love. You need
Your
to love
passion,
music.
passion,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you need to
And
just
then
love music, and
take it
most
from
people
there.
do. There's a couple of people that I've met, and I'm like, well, so what music do you listen to? I don't really listen to music. You know,
I don't understand that. I really don't. I don't get it.
So there is actually people like this.
but that's
like,
mad to me.
You know,
There
Sam,
was-
you don't listen to music. I said, what how? Like, what? He doesn't listen to music. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
do you know?
bad vibes. There's something wrong with you. Like something's not right. How can you not listen to music?
You're walking to the
remember we
train
went to,
station and you
like,
listen to the air. Doesn't make sense to you.
Yeah.
Doesn't make
The
sense to
noise,
me.
the hubbub of the city. No.
There's
computer.
there's actually people generally like that. Like, where did we go when the girl said we was like? I was like, oh, what you doing here? The girl that was with, it was like a couple of years back, and we went to like you ever been to like Gorilla or something?
We went to it was
Was it
to-
Gorilla?
Was that
yeah, it was
Manchester?
to Hannah,
Yeah.
Hannah Wants, I think.
And
Hannah Wants?
Yeah,
Lit.
and
Yeah.
we were speaking, and then she was like, yeah, I don't like music. I looked at her like, what the fuck? Then I was like, but you're in a concert? She was like, yeah, because I don't want to peer
Feel left
pressure.
out,
It was actually
basically.
peer pressure.
I've
I'm
never
like,
been to a
"Right."
concert, so you can never peer pressure me. I can't be peer pressured.
You've never been to a concert?
I went to WizKid, but in Nigeria, which is not the same. Do you know what I
You
mean?
went to Whiskey. What was
That's
that?
that would've been
sick.
That was mad.
Yeah.
There was bullets being shot by the police. My mum was on a police van looking for me and my sister. It was mad. It was mad.
Your mum, you know what's mad? That's the beef I kind of have with my parents now. So I want to go to Nigeria now.
Yeah.
But
They don't
at
want you
this
to.
age, they won't know. Because I saw Cardi B went to Nigeria.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Last
Ghana.
year.
And
Yeah.
Ghana, she went to Ghana as
So
well.
when it was on Snap, they were in Victoria Island.
And you were
I went there.
you were in England.
I was
That's
in England.
that's an L.
But this is this is the maddest bit about it. So the strip club. I was like, the strippers in Nigeria.
That was my thought as well. I was like, wait a minute.
So I sent it to every Nigerian person, and everyone had the same idea. The strippers in Nigeria. Like,
That's what I thought because I'm thinking.
I was so baffled, and I was like, yo, because the switch up, so I had to go and message my cousin in Nigeria. I was like, yo, what going for this? He was like, it's just only really recently happened. I was like, shit.
Well
like,
then.
yo, I need to start, because Ghana had this whole thing where they're going to start bringing people in and start making it more westernized and festivals. And
Yeah.
that's how, and then Nigeria
Nation.
started doing the same thing. And I was just like, fam. So I was like to my mum, yo, I'm going to Nigeria on Christmas. She's like, nah, you ain't going. Like, she was like, because my mum's too scared. Like,
That's funny though because my parents are now saying, I think because it was our first time in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I have a twin sister and an older brother, so I'm 20 and my brother's 22, and obviously my sister's 20 as well. But so we're at an age that's okay, and my parents are like, "You've never been, so now we kind of want you to go all the time." So like, this Christmas, if you have enough money, save up, get an apartment with your friends, and stay in Victoria Islands because I feel like Victoria Islands is more
Safer.
and then just stay with your friends. And obviously, if anything happens, we have uncles and aunties who live
Yeah.
around the area who can just.
see, like, my
help us
mum
or
was
whatever.
like, if we go together. And I was like, nah, it's not the thing, man. Like, I want to go and see strippers, me.
Me personally, I won't be going to see any strippers, but I'll definitely be going.
Fam, I'll be saying, clap them cheeks in Yoruba.
Wait,
Why your shokoto?
You're funny. No, because you know what?
That was some Yoruba people.
If you know. I've been trying to teach her.
Pata, pata means girls.
No, it means.
Pants.
There we go.
Come on.
I'm teaching her little by little.
Yeah.
G-Money.
And then shokoto is waist. And then, belimore means bend down.
Oh, remember when I said shilekun?
Okay.
Open the door.
There we go. She's
There
we go.
Okay.
Gaia's gonna be throwing in some Yoruba in the next mixes, you know.
She's going to come with it. What's that guy?
Drake.
Grills,
Like Drake.
grills.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
obviously.
but you could actually put like your Asian twist into it.
Do you know what? I have played.
actually.
There's this
Or
DJ
Italian?
called Italian Music's. Not gonna like.
No, but you could throw a couple. You know,
Italian music's either very like Euro trash,
Oh.
like pop, or
My God,
not
said
gonna
Euro
like
trash.
No, but it's very like cheesy pop. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I get
like the
what you
kind of
mean.
music you'd be hearing in like Spain and shit. Like, but there's a massive like trap scene in Italy at the moment. There's a club in like
There's a
I just
trap
start-
scene in Italy?
Massive. There's a
Wow.
club outside Naples called Magnolia, and a couple of the girls that I know in London have played there, like trap DJs. It's hard. I'll show you some Italian trap later.
Yeah.
There's Italian drill.
French
It's sick.
drill.
French
Goes
and
Dutch.
Dutch.
French.
Dutch, yeah.
Hard.
Really go
It
in.
goes hard. But yeah, Bollywood. I've played around with some stuff. There's this DJ called Nadine Artois. She's DJs for Pussy Palace. And in her boiler room, she mixes like Bollywood song with something else, maybe an unknown tea song. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was so
That's the kind of thing
hard.
that I want to get into.
Yeah, you
Do
said you
it.
must do that.
Yeah, because like
Do it.
I haven't shown anyone, but like the other day I was trying to mix Afrobeats with house.
That's what I did today.
Yeah.
I did it
See,
for
you're
Let's Say
on the
Signal.
wave.
Lit.
Yeah.
I put
Yeah.
There's a special someone who makes me wanna give
Oh,
it with
um,
Iskaba.
Gipper. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It bangs, you know.
Iskaba, baby.
Yeah. That's literally, I've been doing that quite a lot recently, but I was just like, I've never like properly put it in a mix. And I was just like, yeah, I'll do it today.
Do it, man.
And I just
What's
do
a good genre to listen to is Afro House. Like,
Yeah, I love Afro House. I love Afro House.
bangs, and
Do you know Baile?
I don't know any genres.
Baile is like
artist.
Latin house funk. It's hard.
What's it called?
Baile.
BAI, and then it has like two I's at the top, LE. It's very like South American, but there's a lot of like
BAI?
Baile mixes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's hard genre. Sick. It just makes you want to move.
I'm gonna get it. I like Latin house, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a little gander.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
moving into Kolade now, this is your time to shine.
Hi, everyone.
Talk on it, baby.
So like, what are you interested in? Obviously,
Who is
you know.
Kolade?
Collade.
Tell
is
us.
multifaceted.
Tila Depot.
Yeah, period. Collade Tila Depot. But no, I would say I'm an actor, but I've had this discussion with Gaia so many times. I am not one-dimensional. I'm an actor, I'm a creative, I'm a dancer, I'm an artist, I'm a painter, I'm
Though
an
you're just a
activist.
creative, proper.
Right, exactly. I study acting at LIPA. I'm going into my second year in September. I've done loads of music videos. In fact, we were talking about One Day Cole. I was in a music video for him.
Oh really? That's big.
Yeah,
In
which
it.
is mad. My first ever music video was for him, but my cut didn't get in. But I met some beautiful people who helped me get into loads of music videos.
What you do in these videos?
Dance. Yeah,
Dancer.
dance.
You not seen him
dances?
dance?
No.
I bust a little move at the end,
Do you know what's funny? We had Crispin here yesterday. They were meant to do Battle of the Shapes. So it's has to be used to.
That's calm then. It's lit.
Every guest is coming with them.
I will school you.
I'm gonna make a whole promo video. Send me your clips.
I will.
You just got a long week, so
I'm actually gonna make a promo video. I'm gonna sell tickets.
That's so funny.
Summer solstice.
That's so funny.
YouTube DJ, innit?
Yes, absolutely.
That's so funny.
Back.
Josh coming like the Dana White, you know. Shit.
Cold.
We lit.
Number one contenders.
So out of like all those things that you mentioned, is there any like one or like maybe may not be one, maybe two or three, top three that you maybe see yourself going into more full time, or the three that you think like if someone was to offer you an opportunity, you'd be like, that's the one I'm gonna take.
Your heart is in dancing though,
No,
innit?
do you know what it is? Painting and art in general like that is a
Man said
hobby.
painting and arting.
I really thought no one clocked, but trust you to always pick up on my
Arting.
bullshit. But we move.
I let it slide.
whatever. But that's just like my hobby. Like I just do it on my side or whatever. Dancing for me is very spiritual, very very spiritual. Well, I can't speak. Anyway, and I do that in my own personal time. But I also do that for money, and I also do that for joy. But dancing and acting for sure.
Okay.
Like obviously I'm studying acting, so that's defo where.
You need to bring back Step Up and You
Oh,
Got Saved.
like that. Like if someone ever said when people ask me what's like your dream role, it's like it's either between one, a role that speaks to me in terms of teaching other people something or helping someone. So if I did a role, for example, to do with racism or to do with sexuality or to do with just something that I know can touch someone and help them, then I'll take that role because then I feel like I'm doing justice for someone. Or a role like dancing and acting, like Step Up or something, that'd be lit. That'd be like ideal.
How did you get into like all these like different like different talents? Let's say.
I'm surprised your family say become doctor.
It was mad because do you know what? It's very very funny because initially I said I wanted to be a pediatrician.
Okay.
I wanted to be a pediatrician.
Oh, that's with feet
With
in it.
children.
No,
Children.
children.
Man,
I'm not gonna embarrass
Do you
myself.
know what? No.
Time out.
I rate it because
Pediatrician.
no, podiatrist.
Pedicure. That's what I think.
Podiatrist.
Yeah, but that's not too far off. But nah.
Pediatrician's a child doctor.
Yeah.
But I only need that because
I'll
I
let you have that.
Hey, you looked at me thinking
You know what's mad? I knew you was gonna say that. I actually knew.
You lot are rude.
I knew that was.
I saw the whole. He knew it. I said no, it's with children. He looked at me like I'm the dickhead.
Oi! It's nearly 10 years since Iron Apple. Oi, don't make me come on.
Okay, you know what? That's a sore subject for you, so we don't have to bring that up right now. No, but so I wanted to be a pediatrician, and my parents obviously were gassed. I was only like what 9, 10 when I said that.
But I think that's the dreams because I wanted to be a doctor at that age, and you know what's mad? Your parents already they give you subliminal messages.
Yeah, because is it your dream or is it
Your
subconsciously
parents-
their dream?
Yeah, because we used to watch ER, and there was
Banged. ER banged, you know.
no, was it? Yeah, it was ER. yeah.
banged.
And there was a black doctor called Dr. Benson. And my mum was like, "Yo, Dr. Benson, like he's doing well for black people."
Yeah.
Bear in mind, this is a TV show. A man's an actor. And then she told me to be an actor, but she's telling me be like Dr. Benson, like Dr. Benson. So in my head, I'm thinking, "Yo, Dr. Benson saved my life."
That's what happened. I saw someone save life, and I struggle with asthma really, really badly, so I had to see a pediatrician every like month, I think it was, or like every 3 weeks, something like that. So my pediatrician she was tough, but she was so sweet. She was really, really nice, Dr. Equi. But yeah, the reason, I think the way I came about my talent, I guess, was I've always been dancing. Always, always, always dancing. Like every party, I was getting the dollar from like, Nigerian parties and stuff like that. I was always getting money for dancing. So I've been dancing. Acting, I've always been performing at school, like every school play, every school, I was always there. Everyone always knew that I liked it. And I think it was never like, how did I come about? It was always just part of who I was. So for me, it's like, and then I'm lucky to have the dad I have. Like my mum is very much, in fact, both of them are very much like, be a doctor, be an engineer. But then eventually my dad was like, he's just not going to do that. It's just never going to happen for him.
So go.
I was going to say as well, like for myself, when I was a bit younger, I used to play a lot of different sports. And then I used to have different sports coach say to me, like, you know, you need to focus on one sort of, do you have like anybody that say, look, you need to pick one sort of thing?
When I was 18, I went through like one of the most biggest mindfucks. I was obviously going through UCAS, and I love fashion as well. That's a major thing that I'm obsessed with.
Clearly.
Drip.
Just a little something. And I wanted to study fashion at university. So I did my whole UCAS and through fashion. Then I said to my drama teacher, but I still want to audition for drama schools. Like, is that possible? But I never actually had the proper conversation with him, so I never did. And then it got to like a month before my exams. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like, I just felt something. I was like, I don't know. I think I saw a sign from God. I was like, nah, fashion is something I can do in the future, maybe a business brand or whatever. And it is something I have. That's one of my goals, but I don't think it's for me right now.
I feel like you don't need to go to university to do fashion.
Right.
You see a lot of people now as well, especially the Instagram boom, the people who are influencers or people that post this, that they're the ones now getting like
the money
and the jobs into that. Who people are going into university. It's kind of, people say like following doesn't really transcend into money, but it actually transcends
really
into
does.
Opportunity and money. Do you get what I'm
100%.
saying? So they've kind of took the jobs where people who have studied now could have been, and it's a shame.
It's a shame. Exactly.
It's like
It's your name,
there's a
innit?
loophole. Huh?
Your name carries weight.
Yeah, there's like a
following.
loophole. Like there's a girl I see, and she was just like a little.
He said,
Who are you seeing?
No, not seeing, like seeing.
he said, who you seeing?
This one's like, mom's gonna fish me up. And she started off like she just started off being like a fashion blog, and then now she does stuff like for Pretty Little Thing. But she actually works with them, but she never studied fashion.
Exactly.
She just had an eye for clothing, and I feel like you have an eye for drip. You don't need to study.
Right.
Like, it's one of them.
And it's also very subjective.
Yeah. So like I see some of the stuff as well. No offense, but when I was in uni and I seen some of these fashion shows, it's like, rah.
It's very
It's a
Yeah,
bit
but
much.
high-end couture.
Yeah, or like some of it is like avant-garde, and
That's
it's like
the
it's
word
very
of it.
like
Some are very cool.
yeah, but it's different. Like I think it's different, and I think it's interesting as well because you don't have to go to drama school to be an actor. You don't
No,
have
you
to.
don't.
You don't have to. You have to want it. You have to want to train.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's hard. It
Affect
is
your
hard.
It's hard.
But I think I don't know. I think it is the same. I don't think fashion should be exempt from. I think it's the same with acting and dance. You don't have to go to be. Your heart just has to be in it, and your head has to be in it, and you have to be able to kind of succumb to that routine of being in school. You're in school again, and that's hard.
9 to 5, Monday to Friday. It's hard. It's long.
Yeah, it is.
But
Especially when I was at uni for a year last year, where I was doing 3 days a week for like 2 hours a day, or whatever. So I was just like waking back up at like.
It's training.
8
People
a.m.
don't realise that like these institutions, especially for like performing arts, it's not normal uni. I can't go out during the week. We can't go out like doesn't
can't
work
go out
like
in the
that.
week?
Well, you can, but you'll be stressed in the
I have
morning.
to be in at 9 o'clock, and then depending if we have a show, there's been times at Lipper where I've had like 15, 14-hour days where I haven't left because you're training. They're building you up to be this thing. It's not like you've got minimum contact hours or
Right.
you're only in and out or you can do it from home. Like you've got to be in there. It's very physical.
Practical.
And I think
Right.
and mental as well. It's mentally draining. Jesus Christ.
yeah. Did you
Mentally draining.
teach comedians in your school?
You
Like,
what?
did you teach people to be comedians, or was it just
I
strictly
think
like
We
acting?
did do
modules rather.
we did like comedy and like stand up and like
For stand-up,
clowning. I don't know.
it's a whole completely different craft. I've always wanted.
Yeah.
I said someone I wanted to be a comedian one time. She wouldn't let-
Again,
she
I
wouldn't
don't.
let me.
But some people like
I
this
don't
is
think you need to be.
this is what I think like.
But I feel like you need to learn how to write.
No, I
it.
feel like
Nah,
you,
some
I
people
feel like,
have it.
But
Yeah.
sometimes
Some people have it.
Sometimes you have it, but sometimes also it's not necessarily being taught it, but sometimes finding a mentor that can help you and guide you.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that I've always had something. Like, I've always been a performer. I've always been good with people.
Right,
I
same.
love accents, but I needed to be disciplined, and it needed to be structured, and it needed to
That's
be
what I was
like.
gonna say.
But I think being a comedian, some people have a natural flair. For example,
Yeah.
Mo the comedian, he's gone from Instagram. Doing little videos on Instagram to Channel 4 to doing his own show,
Yeah.
especially for him, his journey. That to transcend from an Instagram kind of like
But
funny
at the
video
same
to
time,
stand up is mad.
If you follow his story close by, he was doing stand-up shows. It's just that not everyone knows that as well.
Oh, there you go. I
So
didn't know
yeah,
that.
so as well as he's been doing the Instagram that like is more visible to the wider world. He was still doing his local stand-up shows.
Oh man, I didn't
So
know
to
that.
practice his craft, because
Yeah,
I've listened to quite a few of his interviews, and he spoke about it. He'd be doing
He's
his
sick.
little like
But I think that's the hardest,
Sunday
like,
shows and stuff
to
like
make
that.
people laugh. That's hard.
Do you know what it is? I feel like
Hard.
it's more about how you deliver it rather than trying to be funny or like I'm gonna tell you a joke. It's more how it comes across to that group of individuals, because like I feel like I can say Josh is funny, I'm funny, Trey's funny.
If you're gonna say I'm not funny,
No. I'm not gonna party like that.
But again, it's subjective, isn't it?
That's what I was gonna say. So
What you-
depending on the circle and the group you're with, my funny may not always work on everybody.
100.
The same with Josh, the same with Trey.
Don't put me-
I'm just saying,
Well,
like,
my funny transcend, it's universal.
there you go. He's universal.
Yeah.
Mine isn't. But I'm okay with that because I know there's times when I can't be how I would be with others.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's interesting as well, like, if you've got, like, different passions and different, like, I don't know, if your heart's in different places, like, I think that's interesting why, like, I think that's why you're going to be successful. Like, I'm talking, but because to narrow yourself down to just be an actor, like, especially like if you do go to Lipper, obviously Kolade's only in first year, you cannot. This
Second
is from
now.
my experience. I've graduated now. Like, I've done the thing by the
Big
skin of my teeth. It was hard, you know. It's difficult. Like,
we were
I've
there.
come from, for real. I've come from not having any A levels, GCSEs, getting kicked out, like having a horrible time academically, and then going into another academic institution. I struggled with the routine, with the discipline, just with maintaining kind of like.
I think routine is the hardest thing I struggle with.
100%. But I think you can't academize an art, and the minute you try and do that, you will flop. So to have your fingers in other pies, and it makes you full-bodied. To be an actor, especially, you need to be three-dimensional. You need to live life. You can't learn how to act from reading a book.
And do you know what's
Nah, yeah,
interesting
I
with
get
that? I have got most of my opportunities not from Lipper. Or I've done quite a few things I'm happy to say and proud of to say, but none of them have come from Lipper.
Yeah, nothing comes from the institution. you're
Right,
from.
which is so interesting because it's like, if I'm being very, very real to myself, I would say that I'm only at drama school and getting a degree
A qualification. That's
for my parents. Because if my parents said I was going to take a gap year, I didn't want to go to uni last year because I was like, I was studying drama and theatre arts, which is still good, and that's for some people, but for me it's not necessarily what I wanted to do. So my mum was like, but you're not taking a gap year. So I was like, right. She's like, you have to get a degree of some sort. I don't care. And she's like, I don't necessarily want it to be acting, but a degree, you are going to get a degree.
So how did you make the decision then? Because you were in London to come to.
So then, yeah, and then I was going through UCAS and I was like, I saw a sign from God. I was like, I can't do fashion, and then I said to my drama teacher, I'm going to audition during my gap year, which then turned into on clearing on results that I got into Goldsmith, but I was still going to audition, and then it was really bad because when I found out I got to Lipper, I just didn't care. I felt so bad, but I just didn't go to uni at all for like 3 months.
Which is this Goldsmith?
Yeah, I just didn't
So
go.
when does Lipper start? January?
It started in September, so I didn't start until last September. Just September
okay.
gone. So the September before that is when I started Goldsmith.
Okay.
So 2018 September to last year, which was mad.
It's what you just said about this, even though you were saying that all your opportunities have come from yourself, not from
Right.
actually the institution. It's like that with a lot of even degrees that we did.
Right.
Even me getting into professional role, what we done, the stuff that we did is actually benefited us more and the skills that we have. So I was saying this, like, they should have taught, like, I did marketing, he did graphics, and Trey did business. So, like,
They should be all combined.
they
to
should
be
be all
honest.
combined
Right.
because everything that I do now is practically what Tessa does. But if I didn't know them skills prior, I wouldn't have got the jobs that I got.
Right.
Because I'm actually... See, this is what I hate. An employer asks for this, and this. But what you're actually told is not actually what the employer wants. So how are you credible for the job that is actually applied for?
100%.
So then people think like, I'm going to get a marketing job. All I need to know is like how a business runs. But it's not actually that. You need to learn the creative. So I know how
Right.
to... I'm a videographer. I can do graphics
Right.
and all this stuff. That's not because of uni.
No.
That's not me for sitting in class.
No.
That was actually for me trying to go and find stuff and do
100%.
that.
You're making the effort to become
Yeah.
multifaceted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Because
think
that's only
so
going to aid you at
important.
the end of the day. If you've got these different skills, like if you have all these skills and they're all just leading to the one place, it's kind of like a Venn diagram. Do you know what I mean? It's only going to benefit you, and that's why I think you said earlier that you're doing like these the short courses.
Yeah.
again, that's not coming from uni. That's from you coming from an avid interest to be like, actually,
I wanna be
I'm
better
going to
for
put
myself.
some, I'm going to put some money and some time into bettering this. So then there's longevity in it, and then hopefully when I gain these skills, I can then go on.
100%.
Do you know, it can widen your opportunities and your experience as well, which I think is.
But this is where it
most
shows where
important
there's
thing.
flawed in the
Education system.
there is, because
Don't get me
this-
started on the education system.
She will go.
Yeah. But I feel like
Somebody say lipper?
I feel like it's
See, I saw
No,
your
but
stuff.
not even that. But like, I only found out I was dyslexic in my second year of uni. How the fuck did I was about to say, can I swear?
But you did it
you only
after
found out in the second year.
How
of
did I
uni.
get through? But this is what I mean. How did I get through?
19, 20 years of your life.
How did I go through school, secondary school, sixth form by the skin of my teeth? No one picking up that I was dyslexic,
I
but
don't
severely
believe in it,
dyslexic.
I do not believe in it.
Nah,
Don't believe in what?
In
Dyslexia.
In what
No,
sense?
no, no. Before you say that, because I know what you're gonna
Listen,
say.
I'll dash this in your face. Dyslexia.
That's why I said. That's why I said before he says it. I know what you're gonna say because you said it
Yeah,
previously.
I don't believe in it.
Okay,
But-
I'm intrigued.
but hold on. But I feel like with some people, it's more prominent, and because I was actually seeing, like, I saw like the symptoms and how they crosses over between the differences between if you're a male or you're a female, and it's the way some people like would use, because I know what you're gonna say. Some people use dyslexia
As a placebo effect.
as a placebo, or
Yeah.
or as a way
But
to.
it's not just about like.
To-
A deterrent, basically.
Yeah.
shield
But for me,
themselves.
it's
Yeah, to
like
shield
my
themselves.
dyslexia is like concentration. So bearing in mind, like I've got very minimal GCSEs. I don't have maths GCSE. I don't have science GCSE. I don't have any A levels. I've got one A level, again by the skin of my teeth. But for me, like, there's different components that aid this dyslexia. So when I did the test, it's a very thorough test. Took about 3 hours. Concentration, repetition. Kind of like, especially with numbers. So like if I ever ask you for your bank details, you have to put them in, because I'll mix it. Do you know what I mean? Like
numbers and letters.
numbers and letters will like mix up, but ultimately what it came down to was just my concentration. And my inability. I'm very articulate, don't get me wrong.
No,
Because
we
I'm
know.
dyslexic, I'm
What?
very, very smart.
Period.
I'm very articulate.
There we go.
But that-
Especially in school, maybe my experiences have also hindered it. I was always in maybe like bottom sets, and then I loved English, was very good at English. I was very naughty. I just didn't really care, if I'm honest.
See, I saw
So
something.
that's all things that could have aided this.
I saw something.
lack of
They said that
learning,
when they do assessments with like girls and boys from
Mm-hmm.
younger ages of who have dyslexia, there's different
Mm-hmm.
signs that are different. So with lads, it might be they're very hyperactive
Mm-hmm.
and they're over the top, and there's a lack of being able to be still and stuff like
But
that.
it's not universal.
No, it's not
Everyone's going to
universal.
manifest differently. Do you know what I mean?
With girls, it's more so, like you said, lack of concentration, seem disinterested, and then because the girls seem disinterested, sometimes they're just referred to as they're not clever, or
See,
no one's
Yeah.
don't you
bothered.
think
So
that's
there's-
concentration? Because my concentration goes.
yeah, but there's a difference though with your concentration going and you actually actively not being able to focus on something,
So like I'll write the same word twice,
or
or like
you
I'll
may be reading
my
something.
spelling might be wrong.
It's interesting though, because so
A
many
lot of
people would say that I've got like
spellings are
ADHD
long, you know?
and stuff like that.
Like when you get older, like I used to get told that my spelling is atrocious. Don't get it. It's shocking. But then when you get older and you look at it, a lot of people's spelling is a lot. It's like, I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
it is. I used to drill into it. Everyone's writes perfectly. And then when you get older and then you start reading other people's work, everyone writes how they speak.
I
Yeah.
don't.
You don't?
I don't think
You're the
I
top
I
1%.
changed.
Could it be that we're no longer in this?
No,
Maybe-
I purposely tried to change it over the years, but a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
though.
a lot of people write.
Maybe-
It's
But
like,
that's
Because-
why, if you don't know me, how do I speak to you? Voice note. Because
Yeah.
and that's another thing. I can't articulate myself the way I want to over text, because
You can't physically.
I need to voice note, and that's why I think voice note is the best thing for a dyslexic, because
For anyone,
no, but some people don't. Some people aren't.
you have to emphasize.
I know
No,
it's not-
but
no.
some people aren't comfortable. Like some people,
Yeah.
there are some people that I've messaged and be like, "Raw voice note." Like,
nah, so yeah,
It's a bit
Some
mad.
people, but it's for some people.
It
It's
just
like
depends,
really
innit?
intimate, innit?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
someone voice notes me now, I'm like, oh shit, should I voice note back? Should I type back? If I type back,
I'm thinking, why do I want to listen to your voice?
but how many times have you heard me say, being like, "I'm so sorry"? To people that I don't even know, I've been like, "I'm so sorry. I don't like typing. I'm gonna voice note you
you
because
know
I
what?
want to hear.
I
I want
prefer
you to
someone
hear
doing
me."
But London people voice note the fuck out of everything.
Gaia.
They actually
Voice
do.
note the
Yeah,
fuck
they
out
do.
of
It's
everything.
I've had a
proper
couple
London
girls
thing.
friends being like, "Do you know what? Like, I don't really voice note, but like, I'll do it for you." And I'm like, "It's a London thing, you know."
It's a London thing because
I've noticed
all my
that as
London
well.
friends
Innit?
voice note me now. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Even asking small questions.
Yo, so let me say this. So I was seeing someone in it, right? And she was getting somebody to like do like these deets things, basically to get us like a decent like package somewhere.
Are you paying out somebody? I'm
No. Wait. Just like a little holiday thing. It didn't happen anyway.
Wait. To conclude.
It didn't happen anyway, innit? So, anyways, we're just me and her just chilling in there, and then I hear this voice note going, "Yo, babes," and I'm thinking, "Oh shit, who the fuck's this?" But then realised that that's how like they speak, just voice notes in it. I'm thinking to myself, it's some next guy that's like banging my thing. Do you know what I mean? All I hear is, "Yo, babes," and I'm just like,
It's one of them.
wow.
It's one of them. Yeah, it is a London thing.
But I do realise that sometimes I really do be voice noting people like, "Oh, by the way, I'm downstairs now."
No.
Like, really, truly.
We actually voice note all the time.
But you know what? It has come from you. Like, I can type. I'm so fast at typing, and it's really bad because I'm so fast at typing that I spell every single word wrong.
You're actually like me.
I spell every single word wrong. And my friend, he was like, what he does is he turns off his Wi-Fi, types, and then he puts his Wi-Fi on, and then sends me his message so that I can't message him back while he's, because we send paragraphs, but I've already replied to his first paragraph while he's still reading my first paragraph.
But I'm always on my phone. It's actually really bad.
Yeah, no.
I reply like, "Brrr," and then when I read it, I'm like, "What the fuck is this?"
And I'm like, you either understand it or you don't. You get with it or you don't.
Not gonna lie, I never understand this
We're the
shit.
same person, man.
But then it's funny because I speak like the way I type, so it's like I'll be making mistakes when I'm talking as well.
Nah, I can execute it when I'm speaking. When I get to a point, it's vroom. But I say it with vim. But then when I'm typing, I'm
Absolutely, it's because I will forget what I'm saying, or I'll forget, or I just want to get it out really quickly.
But autocorrect is a villain. Like,
Absolutely.
autocorrect is a fucking madness.
It really does.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, it's not even me. Autocorrect, like, even when I try and type the word, it's ready for this.
But you know what? Then now it's gone to the point where I write the word so many times that it just corrects it to my word.
But you know what? Like, I'm thinking about it now.
Literally.
Tongues.
Literally.
I agree. Not that I agree, but I can see what you're saying. I'd never heard of dyslexia until I was in uni. And then,
What? Serious?
not that I'd never heard of it, but like
No,
it
I
wasn't
know
really
you,
something
like,
that was just like apparent. Like,
my school was very apparent.
I didn't really know about. Like, I've heard of it, but I was just like, when they said you want to do dyslexia test, I was like, no. I was like,
Sex? What's this?
no dyslexia test.
Mama's here.
Mama's ready, you know.
On that
She
note,
said it really fast.
I got
That's
dyslexia in my ears.
I'd never heard of it, and then I think a teacher picked up on something. He was just like, "Have you ever been tested for dyslexia?" And I was like, "No." I was just like, "Nah." And then I did the test, and obviously, like with my history, like with the A levels and GCSEs, I tried to pass my maths GCSE. I think maybe about 4 times. It just wouldn't stick. I had the tutoring. I used to go to these classes after school. Like, I really, really tried. There was a part of my brain that just clearly just couldn't get it. And then we did there was those shapes. So in the test there was shapes. There was like words. There was like a story that we had to highlight. Took me about 3 hours. And then I was also late to the meeting. So when they went to the test. So when they gave me back my feedback, the feedback was like, Gaia was also late to the meeting, which like. Obviously,
to them it's just like a more...
Like, she's not very good at timekeeping, and I was just thinking, okay, cool. So obviously I got that, and I was like, okay. And then as the time went on, I got like support from Lipper, which was great. But even in terms of reading, like for me to read a passage, I'm reading the same page 4 times over and over again.
No. So basically, like,
or if I see something that says like the big red dog, especially with acting, for example, like if I go to an audition, you have to cold read, which means they'll give you the script and then you've got to read it like that. And obviously that makes me mad on edge because I'm confident with reading out loud, but if it says like the big red dog, I'll read the big dog red. Just and I won't even realise it. So he recorded me and he sent it back to me and he was just like, I asked you to read this passage. Just look how many times that you've done that. And I did it about 6-7 times, like within like a 1 minute passage.
Big dog red.
So I'll mix the words up. So if it says the Front Left podcast, I'll say the podcast Front Left.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's your head voice like when you read? Because my head voice when I read... No, you have a head voice.
Not everyone does though.
What?
I have a head voice.
I don't know what it is.
No.
When you read?
Yeah, no, I found this out. There's only like 25 to 50% of people.
Really?
I've never heard of a
when
head
you
voice.
Never heard of it before.
Yeah.
When you speak and you hear a voice in your head, not everyone hears.
Did
that
you clock
voice.
when you guys said I said, hi, it's Kolade. Like I have when I'm trying to be, I don't mean to do it, but like sometimes I'm just like, told to say something, or I complete my.
But everyone has that voice. It's like when you speak to like someone on the phone, like "Hello." Everyone
that's
subconsciously
not
goes
what I'm
higher.
talking about.
No,
Do you know when
no,
you're
no.
thinking a thought and you're gonna say something, so you're
It's
preempting
already
your
said
mind?
in your head.
Do you
You
have?
don't, you don't know. I don't think before I speak. So
Yeah, really, truly,
That's what
really.
I'm saying. Like,
What do you mean though?
So- okay.
basically, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so-
when you're gonna say something, think there's a voice in your head that
So
says
when
it,
I'm
says it.
reading something, it's already I can hear the words in my head.
Yeah.
nah.
So it's
No.
See, so this is an example. It's not for everyone.
Because me and Gaia.
100%. I'll
I
find the
thought this was
article. No,
everybody.
But do you know
because
what?
I was baffled because I was like, wait, doesn't everybody hear the voice in their
I
head before
don't
this?
think before I speak, like at all. When I'm reading, I just and similar to Guy, like I'm pretty sure if I got tested, I might not be dyslexic or something, but I've been told to get tested for ADHD and stuff because I can't sit still. I speak so quickly. I do not think about anything I speak, which is why I've already made like 200 mistakes and stuff.
just talk in your head. Can you hear your voice?
She's laughing now.
She's thinking she's just thinking when was the last time I thought. She's thinking when was the last time I had to hear my own voice.
But can you hear the voice?
yeah, and it's my voice.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
hear nothing. I just
So when you're reading, when I'm reading something, like I'm just looking and reading, my head is dictating
Read that.
these.
Nah.
My head is saying what is
Oh, yeah.
visually represented in my head. So I'm hearing it like. So I'm not looking at the words. I'm actually reading it in my head.
Yeah.
Oh
like-
no.
So basically, if I was to write a paragraph on a piece of paper and I was to give it to you and I say read it, would you have to look at it and read it aloud as you're reading it, or can you look at it and
It's you can hear
it's
it playing
going
your
off
head.
in your head? Because when I read similar to Josh,
Yeah.
if I had a paragraph here now, I would read it without saying anything, but there's a voice in my head that's going around reading everything for me.
So
No,
like
I
when
don't
I
know what
read
you're
that
on
now,
about.
it's like I'm hearing like Tuesday the 28th like in
Yeah.
my head, and it's so much clear. The
See,
execution
so
is
this
on point.
is the example
Never
I'm
heard
saying.
of
That
this.
when I saw it, because I saw it somewhere and I was like, isn't
So
everyone
then
like this?
I don't know how people read it.
Exactly. That's why it's so hard for me personally to read. Because when someone says read this, I'm thinking, which is why sometimes when I do read, I mumble up all the words. Not mumble up. It's the right order for me, but it's always just I stumble on the words because it's like I'm not actually thinking about what I'm reading. I'm just
So you're just
looking at the
kinda
words.
saying it
Yeah,
as
I'm
and
just
when.
saying. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Because
Which is why sometimes I have to read things over again because it's like whenever I read a book, I have to read the same words or the same paragraph a
Yeah.
couple of times. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to
See,
me.
I just look at it and it this is what I'm saying. If I read it out loud now, it's atrocious. But then when I read it in my head, I can read that just one take, and it's all the
Also, think about it like this:
soaked
the
in.
context that you're reading it out loud in. When you read a book in your room by yourself, do you read it out loud?
No, in my head.
Do you know what?
But that's what I
Sometimes
mean.
do both.
I do. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, same.
I do both.
Not that I read anymore.
But
at all,
for example,
but-
like the context of reading out loud normally like is to other people, and there's a pressure, and do you know what I mean? There's a not a fear,
Yeah.
but like
Like an anxiety.
There's,
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
nervousness. So
So when I text back now, I'm like speaking what I'm about to text back, and then sometimes when I'm messaging you and I butcher something
Yeah.
up, and then you laugh, I get vexed. I'm like, what have I just said? And I'm reading back over
So
it
do you
again.
read it out loud or?
I've started reading out loud.
I get that.
This is why I
No,
try
for real.
not to type how I speak, because I try and just type it in plain English, as in
I get what you mean.
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? So
I've been
there's
trying
no-
to do that as
do
well.
you use
So the-
punctuation?
all the time.
My punctuation.
Oh God.
Do you know
Have
what?
you never seen me send you a message?
Do you know what you need to do?
Yeah.
It's formal as hell. There's no
This-
slang or anything.
Tessa's
in it
like
because
regards.
This will change.
Yeah, no, I am. Actually,
That's
I'm
it,
not.
regards.
This will change your life forever. You all got money because you're G33. And like,
What you
and drip. But just you know what? Download Grammarly, but pay for like the £25 a month one, or not £25. Like
£25 a month, you're mad.
Fam, no, when you get to like an academic level, when you need to start pushing out
Yeah,
professional
no,
stuff.
fair.
But I don't need to get to an
Like-
academic level.
Yo, there's gonna be
Yeah,
a
but
point where
You never know.
When you need to
never
read
know.
contracts or
Yeah,
anything.
you need to start like.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't want someone
yeah,
else
yeah.
reading it for you because they will just
Yeah,
leave
yeah,
out the
yeah, no.
important
The
stuff.
free
Yeah, I would
one-
get scared with that.
Oh yeah, I
The free
take
one's just
50%.
basic. It does like you spelling mistakes, but the actual one where you pay a month, like anything I do work related,
Yeah.
fam, my punctuation, where everything needs to go, the proper grammar.
My best
why
friend
it's
went
so
to
hard.
Cambridge. My best, so I've got her. Everything I just do, I just send to her.
Yeah, but
I
you
just
can't
send to her.
always
Rely.
send
Yeah, I
it.
can't.
Which is why it's so hard for me to do my
Almighty.
work. Like I still have work to do because like I find it so hard to just sit down and type like essays and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's so, like and
Do you know?
that's
Do you know what you should
so
do,
hard for
which
me.
would help? I think I even told you about it. Is just to create like a goal system. So it'd be like
Right.
today, I'm only going to do 100 words.
Yeah.
And then once you get to that 100 words, you're like, right, it's only 100 words. You're flying through it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'm going to do 100 words. Before you know it, each day, because 100 words is so easy, you've done 200, you've done 300, you've done 400.
It's digestible like that.
Right.
Otherwise, it's a bit daunting if you
Rather
got
than
to
like, I've got 2,500 words to do.
That's
Oh my
exactly how
God.
much I have to do.
Oh my God.
That's
Is it?
mad.
See?
That's
I
mad.
paid for
I used to do
someone
something
to do my
similar to that in uni. Yeah.
I got plagiarized for it, and I thought never again.
You learned a big lesson, didn't you?
Yeah, I learned a very big lesson.
That's
You
mad.
paid someone?
Yeah, it was like in first year.
I could never pay anyone because I don't
Mad.
trust anyone like that. I don't trust anyone like
So,
that.
Joe, the way that you said, like, it's only like recently or in the last couple of years that you've found out like dyslexia or whatever. I always just thought it was just reading. If that makes any
I
sense.
think it's, I don't know, like in the test there was so many things. There was numbers, there was like, do you remember when you lot did like the non-verbal reasoning,
I was just
verbal
about to say
reasoning,
that,
like, shapes, concentration, reading out loud, like dyslexia is a very complex thing to understand. It's like a multiplicity of things. It doesn't have to be narrowed down to just reading or writing, like, because in terms of writing and
Behavioural.
and speaking, I'm very articulate.
Because, like,
It's
it can be
behavioural,
behavioural.
it's psychological, like to be honest, which is why I respect, I don't know enough about it. But I've done it was a very vigorous test. This guy from an external, I don't know, psychology place came in, did it with me. And since then, the benefits that I've had in terms of support have really helped me. So I can only really, in terms of like LIPA and stuff, the way they've helped me. And the people that have come in to like aid me.
There's dyslexia, there's dyspraxia.
Dyspraxia, yeah.
There's this.
Dementia, that's one.
That's not
I
to do with
will
it.
jump.
That is nothing to do with it. There's a.
I know what you're trying to say.
What you want?
My forgetful memory. I know what you're trying to say.
Dementia's one.
No. But like, at the end of it, it's a learning difficulty, and like, in terms of my history, it would make a lot of sense. And also, but fundamentally, at the end of the day, it goes to the lack of support that I had in school.
Yeah.
But you know what, yeah? Listen, what you've just said, you are very articulate.
Yeah.
It's better to be articulate now. Because you need to think here, what carries yourself when you get older. It's not what you're written, it's what you're saying. So there's a lot of people who can write, but imagine now, like, a lot of people say to you when you leave Liverpool, where you from? You don't sound Scouse. And then you go for interviews or you work in a professional environment and you be like, what's happening there, lad?
But that's people skills, especially to work. Like,
I
there's
don't
a
think that's
difference
people
between being
skills.
articulate. Nah, but it's common
is to a
sense
certain
to
extent,
people
extent.
skills. Think about, there's a lot. I've said this the other day. There's so many people that are my age that really actually struggle looking someone else in the eye. To have that kind of
Eye contact?
Yeah, that eye contact, that people skills, to feel comfortable with another person, especially strangers. It's a bit mad. And in terms of if you're working in a job, I always used to say this, especially with teachers. How can you work in a job that is so centric to working around people, like a teacher, and then you don't like people? If you want to work with young people, you have to love young people.
You need to understand.
Do you know what I mean?
Teachers are the
different
worst,
people
man.
are.
Teachers
The
are
worst.
and it's
I
to
don't
go
like
back to something like the whole Black Lives Matter thing that you we're gonna jump into that in a minute, but it's only till like later life that I started realizing teachers were racist,
Yes, and I will jump because
and I didn't get that.
I didn't get that until literally within this whole Black Lives Matter movement for the last couple of months. I was like, there's so much stuff that I let slide. There's so much stuff that
Because you're not aware of it.
you're not aware of it. And there's some, and we had this conversation before, me and Gaia had this conversation before, it's where I was in a position, okay, for example, I'll use an example that a couple years ago, maybe when I was 16, maybe 15, and I did something at school, got bullied for it, got suspended for it, and then the teachers gave me lack of no support, and I was then being bullied for it heavily, and it was to do with my sexuality, so like everyone was bullying me all the time, blah, 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 blah. And then what that does to a young child, well, the person I kept everything. I couldn't tell my parents I was being bullied because I'm an African child. Didn't want to tell my siblings, my brother's a straight black man. My sister is my twin sister, but it was still... So I didn't talk to anyone about it, literally no one. So it was very much bottled up. And then I would just lash out. Not lash out, but I was just a very angry child.
Yeah.
So then this one time, this girl... I find the story so funny. So basically, she was chatting, just rubbish, in my ear at school. I got sellotape and I put it on her lip. I said, shut up. I said, shut up. She then told everyone I punched her. I was like, I didn't punch you.
What?
I didn't punch you. So the teachers brought me on and they're like, so Isabel said you punched her and she's got a scar on her. I was like, I didn't punch her. And her mum was like, yeah, you punched my daughter. I was like, I didn't punch you. Anyways, now, so I
Did she
have
tell
a...
the truth in the end?
Did I?
No, did she?
No.
No?
Whoa.
Mum put
No.
sellotape on the lips.
No, the girl, I said, did she tell
She
the
never
truth?
told the
Oh.
truth. She never told the truth. But we won't get into the reason as to why she didn't tell the truth, because that girl's another problem. Anyway, but
Tell us off pod because I want to know. Why
okay, I'll let you know. And then so then I had a meeting with the deputy head, both of the deputy heads, and just the two deputy heads. And they're like, "Hi, Kolade, so what's going on? What happened? Why were you in a bad mood?" I was like, "Well, basically nothing. She was just being annoying, blah blah blah." And they're like, "No. What happened? Apparently you came into the classroom in a bit of a huff." I was like, "Well, yeah, the boys because I was in a boarding school and I was in a boys' house."
You went to boarding school?
Yeah, in
No
Essex.
way.
Yeah. So,
Where was the boarding school?
Essex, borderline,
okay, yeah.
Herts and Essex. I don't know if you know Bishop Stortford.
No, but I know Essex. though.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that is.
Nobody knows where Bishop Stortford
Do you know what I
is.
mean?
It's no Harlow,
Hey, you got that
Loughton.
Yoruba
Oh,
money.
okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that way.
They took him to boarding school.
They did. They really did.
I can't believe they didn't send you to Nigeria.
It was
boarding
never going to
school.
happen. It was just never going to happen. That was just not on. No. No, it was just never going to happen. Let's just put it that
Fair
way.
enough.
But yeah, and the boys at my school, specifically in my house, were bullying me, and I was spending I had no choice but to spend every single day with them. They would make songs up like, "If you're gay, then you're gay. Don't pretend that you're straight." All these sort of songs. Like, it was brutal.
That's so uncreative as a song.
Right? And they didn't even make it up. It was on Google, bro.
Like, do you know
What?
what I
That's
mean?
Can I ask you a
Mad.
question? Was your boarding school predominantly white?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was one of 6 in my year of 115.
Okay.
Mad.
And one of them was my twin sister, so basically
Wait,
5.
150 in a year?
Yeah.
That's quite big, to be fair.
That's big.
There was
Yeah.
like 2 white people in my primary school.
Because in my year, there's only like 2, 3, and like there's only actually
How
2
many
black.
forms is there? There was like
2 black.
30 a form.
Yeah,
And we was
30
like
form.
30
6 or
form.
So
7
that's like
forms.
114, you're 100
114 in a whole year.
in a whole year. That's
That's
actually quite,
quite a lot,
that's
you know.
big for
Yeah.
a boarding school. I didn't expect that.
Oh, it's because it was also a day school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But then, so then I'm in the meeting now and they're like, "Yeah, Kolade, so what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Da-da-da-da-da." I was like, "Nothing." I was like, "Fine, the boys in my house are just bullying me." They're like, and then meetings after meetings happen and they'll be like, "Are you sure you're not the one being bullied?" I was like, "Hold on, wait a minute." And I think maybe a problem came where I didn't speak out on what was happening, but it was very systematic in the way that they were saying I was being the one that was saying stuff, but it was never actually me. And it wasn't until I looked back at it, I was like, "Hold on a minute. You lot tried to paint me out to be the bully when
Yeah.
never once did I do anything
They
wrong."
do that. They do
What
that.
happens?
Like,
They make, instead of someone who looks like me, you, us, be
Right.
the victim. We can never be the victim. We're
Right.
always the perpetrator. And then when they prove that we're not the perpetrator, that's when you can be a victim. But
Right.
then by the time that happens, the damage is already
Exactly
done.
done.
schools are so bad. Like, when I look back at it, there was a couple of teachers, and you know what, yeah? During the whole Black Lives Matter thing, I'm like, I'm a grown man. I could actually put you on these, man. Like, I'm not scared. I would actually, like, set man that I feel like, because some people did me, like, a proper injustice back in school. I used to get in trouble for, like, saying things. And there's this one teacher, and I don't want to say his name on pod, but there was, you know, when you're on, like, I've actually went on man's LinkedIn, found man's Facebook, and I thought, you know what, there's 2. One, I went to college, and my head of year, I thought, you know what, yeah, I'll actually really want to stick it on you, man, because, right, you said some comments, and when I was young, I didn't clock it. The one in college, I clocked it. She was racist from the jump, because she always used to tell man, like, she was just mean, and, like, she's like, you won't, you know, you're just, basically from your area, you're not going to be nothing, you're trash. Like, right, my mum makes more money than you, so what are you talking about? Like,
And that's on what? That's on
Right.
period.
Yeah, but at least you had that mentality. Think about how many, especially black men, have gone through that system and been told by the school they're superiors. Bearing in mind, you lot are minors. Do you know what I mean? In a school setting, like,
Yeah.
your teachers, and then there's not a level of,
people who
like,
are supposed to
respect or,
protect
like,
you.
mutual, like,
was-
you're not on the same level. So a lot of young black men will listen to these comments being like, "You're afraid you're not going to amount to nothing." Create a self-fulfilling prophecy. And then, of course, they're never going to amount to nothing because they've had a label stuck on them
bad.
and they're going to succumb to it, which is
That's it.
mad, isn't it?
But she used to say
Such a
just the
shame.
maddest stuff, and then something happened, and she was like, "You're just aggressive." And my head,
Do you know what I hate the most? It's when you tell someone, like, your friend, like, "Right, Mrs. Thing is kind of racist, isn't it?" And they're like, "What you on about?" No, she's not. I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to, and that, because I was very lucky. My art teachers were like my best friends. I told them everything. I literally told them they were the first people. They were one of the first people I came out. I came out to everyone at school and they're like, "Oh, lit." I was like, no, for real. My art teachers were so nice. I was like, "No, Thing is pretty much racist." She's like, "You can't say that." I was like, "No, they are, but deep it." And she's like, I think what's so unfortunate about, and because I was going to do this documentary and I probably still will, I curated loads of stories from black people, their stories at school, and what's so interesting to see is how many of us
Have the same stories.
A lot
Same
of people
stories.
have the same stories.
and it's like we understand that something isn't quite right, but we don't know how to address it because we ourselves haven't been given that tool. And then on top of that, we're not protected, and then we don't see someone. Like, I didn't have any black teachers at my school.
No, we didn't.
I had one, and she was in secretary, so I literally never saw her.
But there isn't many. And you know what's mad? We've already got it in our heads that all black schools are the worst schools. So my mum already thought like,
and that's why I went to a boarding school.
Do you get what I'm saying? My mum was like, you need to go to your school. You need to take that entrance exam. You need to pass
11 plus, 13
yeah,
plus.
and then when you pass, you have to play an instrument.
well.
You need to be. I was thinking,
Do sports. You need to be good at this.
And then it's mad because the boys in my area I've got like one boy who's doing far bigger bits than anyone that I went to school with. Or like, do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it's just like, it just didn't make sense. But then we said this on last week's pod, that there is like borderline racism, and even in like when you start getting into like work culture, and like how there's like isolation because you don't fit in, or you don't
bounty, coconut, all these.
Do you get me?
Words
or
are used.
You don't want to do set things. You need to think our culture of how we socialize is completely different from their social. Like, I've been out and you see like the you know what I used to hate? I don't hate it now because I've learned to love myself a lot more.
Right.
But like when I started working with people that I don't really have interest with, and I'm walking, especially on lunchtime, or I see people that I know, and people always bumping in like, yo, Josh, They're like, yo, you know so many people in it. I'm like, rah. But then you look at some of these people and you already see the standoffish.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, they already got it in their head that man's a road man. Like,
Yeah.
Do you mean, sorry to interrupt, do you mean like, let's say for instance you come see me at work or whatever, and then let's say like people from my workplace just like look, and then like
not just in your work, it's happened like, I don't want to get too into it, but like it's happened where
I've had it when you hung around in my workplaces where people didn't know who you were, and they're like, yo, who's that guy who's just chilling? And why does he keep looking at you? I was like, oh, that's my housemate from my job.
I get that because it was like, I was at school and like, I went to a very predominantly white school, and there was this one particular story where it was me, my friend Melissa, and my baby sister. I call her my baby sister Demi. She's not my blood related sister, but she's my little sister. And we were sitting at lunchtime and we were just busting jokes and we were loud as if we were at a black school, I guess.
My school.
Yeah, for real.
School.
But the looks you get, like, and I think it's so weird. It's like, but then when I'm sitting at the table with my white girlfriends, it's like, just nothing. But the headmaster would walk past, he's like, hi guys, you're right. It's like, what, just because we're singing and banging on the tables, making jokes? It's like that weird look you get just for like,
what are you doing?
right.
Being
It's like,
yourself.
right.
But
it's weird because like you say hi to your colleagues and stuff who are not black, and it's like, hi, yeah, you're right. And then your friend comes to see you at work and you're like, wow, my brother, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's,
See, even,
like, it's a switch
even
up.
like that when we used to work in hospitality, and I'm like, yo, just allow, like, even like we see people, I'm like, yo, just turn down the roadness for a bit. Like, they don't know you. They know me as Joshua. They don't know they don't know me like, yo, I'm just Aussie team, man. Like, you don't know the difference. And I remember one time, like, I went to like some kids like work party, and it was mad because I already had like a little work dispute, and it was like bare work politics. I was just like, it was really tense, and like my manager was like, he tried to discuss the thing. I was like, I just don't want to discuss it. And he come up to me like later on, I was like, yo, do you know anyone who could get drugs? I looked at this dickhead like, like
The cheek of it. And that's how it be. That's how it really be. And I think that's so interesting. It's like, when we are who we are isolated and put in a box, and we are
seen as different.
right, and we're seen as weird. But then as soon as they want something from us that, not necessarily drugs, but necessarily that maybe our clothes or our culture, it's like, hold on, but you don't want me for all of me, so why do you want one part of me?
Yeah, and I think another thing, like you said, in these kind of institutions and places, we're not protected, and especially from a younger age, you kind of like, it's only when you get to now where you can reflect.
Right.
You kind of look back and you think, if I was to then react in a way that I would maybe now, it probably would have been worse for me back then, because I can't even be how I should actually act or want to react, because then I get labelled as being XYZ.
But do you know what's interesting? Because for me, there's two things. Because I had like I said before, I was a very angry child. Well, I had a lot of anger. I wouldn't say I was an angry child. I just had a lot of anger in me. But I had this switch, and it was very much between like being angry and knowing how to be like, hi, I'm Kolade, let's talk about this sort of situation.
Yeah.
And it's very much like, there were certain times where I was like, no, and I had a conversation with people and teachers and stuff. And I think, so for example, we have this thing called, I don't know what it's called, but basically all our heads of departments would be on one panel, and then all the sixth formers would be on the other side, and we could literally ask any questions to either the head of department. So girls would ask stuff like, why do all the boys get more trips than us? And then this one time I said, I was like, so there was a situation where a black student was called a nigger by another student at boarding school by an Asian person, and then that person was dealt with correctly. Suspension, probably should have been expelled, but whatever, blah, blah, blah. It was just, he was fresh off the boat from whatever country he was from. So they were like, no, he doesn't know, blah, blah, blah. But then when a white girl called another black student the N-word, it was a slap on the wrist. So I said, why is it that when one person does something, the other person they basically shut me down? And as I thought in my head, I was addressing the situation correctly, blah, blah, blah. I said, all due respect, I understand, But I could have easily been like, if I really wanted to, I could have made it. I could have called people.
That's
I could
so
have said,
mad to me that you had that kind of situation in your school where
right.
That's quite progressive that you can sit down with your.
That is, yeah,
Innit?
that
What
is,
the
that's
hell?
big.
I mean, boarding school, you're not.
I mean,
you paid for that. Do you know what I mean? At the end
Fam,
of the
I've
day.
been called M-word in school and then people are like, you need to tell one, and I look and I go, who am I going to tell?
But I think
Right.
that is
Who
quite.
am I
That's
actually
quite.
gonna
But the way
big.
it was handled for me was very mad. They said, hi, they're like, okay, Kolade, and we'll talk to you afterwards. Like, but everyone's question was answered then and there.
Yeah.
So hold on, they set up this environment where you could.
It happens twice in a...
relay any issues that you've had.
Any issue, anything.
And everyone's there.
All the sixth formers...
That's also problematic though, because
It's
again,
very problematic.
It's lack of support.
It was
Do
so
you know what I mean?
problematic. It was very problematic because it was
Because
like...
no one had your back.
Exactly.
No one had your back. And then on top of that, it was... We never ever felt as students we could actually do that without that environment.
Yeah.
So it's like the girls would be like, why do all the boys get all these kits? Like the rugby boys, because obviously I know if you go to a private school or any school, you know rugby's a very, very big thing. Yeah. So all the boys get all the latest kits, they get the jackets, they get the clothes, they get the new kit, everything, equipment, everything. Girls get maybe a jumper if they're lucky. So girls, especially the girls at our school, they're amazing at sport. My school is very, very good sport. So the girls are like, it's not fair, blah, 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 blah. But on a day-to-day basis, we couldn't feel like we could have this conversation with our teachers anyway. So it's like, we feel scared to talk to you about it now, but then it's not. So then exactly for me, then afterwards, they were like, we'll talk to you afterwards. I saw them. I'm 5'7". I was like 5'6" at that time, or maybe shorter. My guy was like 6 foot something.
Is this the teacher? Or
Yeah, the deputy head. He's big. He played rugby. He's huge. And then the deputy headmistress was wearing high heels, and I felt so small. And they're like, Kolade, the thing is, yeah, she had some problems. And his voice isn't deep, so obviously he wasn't speaking like that. Yeah, so, you know, she had some home problems and da-da-da-da-da. So, you know, we just had to deal with it the way we had to. I was like, yeah, that's fine. Because guess what? There wasn't 114 people behind me saying, having my back, essentially. I felt small and little. And at the end of the day,
it's one of them, man. No one, when it comes to race, you can tell with the whole, you know, people put like the square for Black Lives, and I spoke to a lot of people, where people were like, I didn't hear anyone speak on the matter, but at the same time, I don't have no ill will for people speaking on it, because I can't really go and speak about white rights. Do you get me? Even though the people like, I know Black Lives,
but at the same time, when it comes to something like Black Lives Matter, I don't think it should be controversial. It's because
True.
It's a human race thing. Like it's someone hurts Gaia. Gaia's my G. Why are you touching Gaia? It's not because Gaia is.
It's not political or like
there's
racial
no-
controversial.
do you know what I'm
It's
saying?
basic human rights.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
But then
Hold on. What are white rights?
I don't know what that is.
I think he was just using that as an example.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I get what you mean in that sense of not making people have to talk, because, and I use this example, and I've used this example multiple times. I went to school with white people, but unfortunately, their bubble and their upbringing means they don't have to succumb.
That's the privilege.
Right, and that's the privilege. And they don't have to succumb to knowing about Black history. They don't need to, because they have their money, they have their swimming pools, and it's a lovely lifestyle. I've been to the houses, and I'm so happy for them that they live the way they do. But at the end of the day, there's some harsh realities that they didn't know that I had to deal with going to school with them. Like them saying the N-word as a joke, but me not knowing how to defend myself, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I think it comes, and I said this to loads of people, I was like, I don't care. At the beginning I did, but then and that's the thing. At the beginning, it's like, everyone should be talking about it, everyone should be talking about it. But then I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I can't expect you to talk on something you don't actually know about. Which is why I said,
You've never
if you don't know
experienced.
what to post, if you don't know what to say, if you don't know where to look, if you don't know how to research, please come and talk to me, because a lot of my followers were white at the point from my schools. I was like, come talk to me. Like, I don't know much, but the little that I know is 100 times more than you. So let's talk about it.
So what you said about like Black history, so my take on it is like, I don't think it should be pushed in schools.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay, but in what sense? Because there's Black history that can be taught. There's Black kings and queens.
so this is the thing. There's Black history shouldn't be part of a curriculum, but I think there should be establishments.
You mean in this country?
in this country?
Okay.
I think there should be establishments where, so like, you wouldn't know this, but like, I went to Yoruba school.
Oh.
And, like, in Liverpool. So like,
Hold up! Wait a minute. That's
Yeah.
crazy to me.
and you know what? There's not even that big of like a Nigerian community is like.
Yeah,
in
someone's
London
telling
stuff.
me, yeah.
So I went to like Yoruba school and Igbo school, and because I'm half Yoruba, half Igbo.
Oh, cool,
So
cool.
I get to learn, and that was my thing. Because Chinese people have Chinese school as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
that's
that's
true,
the kind
that's
of
true.
things that they
So
have.
would you have to pay for that?
No, it's free.
No, it's free.
That
So what is
is-
this? Is it? Sorry to interrupt. Is this something that your mum like found? Like, let's say, like she just knew about it,
No,
or
there used to be on Parliament Street. There used to be the Nigerian house.
because I remember when I was small, my mum mentioned something like, "Oh yeah, you had this extra school that you're going to," and I was just like,
Yeah, I went
"Wait,
to
what?
Yeah,
we go to the
yeah,
same
yeah,
school,
yeah.
but I didn't
Yeah,
get
the
it."
extra school.
I learned
that
all my
was-
Okay.
Yoruba from my household.
So that's you learned in your household.
As in from my mum cussing me out, basically.
Yo, so that's what I'm saying. I
I'm
already
telling you what to
learned
do,
it
yeah.
from my mum speaking, but
Yeah.
then
But also, you got that access in your primary socialisation, so your family, and then your secondary socialisation. But for young Black people, especially Nigerians that don't have that,
no. So this is
Secondary.
This is the point where I was gonna come across. So this is as I've said it before, but you need to look at it now. A lot of African people, not Jamaicans, because you got the Windrushes, but you still kind of got it. But a lot of Black people who are from Africa in England are first gen. A lot of us are predominantly first gen.
Yeah.
So it's not like in America where they're now 10th generation.
Yeah.
So their whole history is lost. No, especially in London, people who are Nigerian still carry Nigerian morals.
Yeah.
They
accents,
Heavy.
names.
Yeah.
My mum and dad were both born in
I
Nigeria.
actually,
You know what
I
I'm
met
saying?
someone.
I was born in Germany.
Yeah, I met
Was
someone.
you born in Germany?
Yeah, I met a Scouser the other day, and he was Black, and I was like, oh, where are you from? He was asking me where I'm from, and I was like, oh, this. I was like, he was like, where are you from? I was like, Brixton. He was like, no, where are you from? And I don't find it offensive.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I want to talk about it. I was like, I'm from here, from there. My parents are this. I was like, where are you from? He was like, just Liverpool. And I was like, but where? And he was like, maybe down the. He was like, maybe somewhere down the line, somewhere in Africa. And I was just like, what? And he was just like, well, we don't really know because yous lot in London have the Windrush.
Yeah.
We had slavery. He was like, my family from like generations ago,
Yeah.
like they're Scouts, so like his grandparents have Scouse accents. Like he was like, more time, your Black friends in London, their
they're
parents
first gen.
probably have accents.
Yeah.
Mine
Yeah.
don't. My grandparents have Scouse accents. Do you
Was
know
he
what I mean?
mixed race?
No, he's Black.
He's full Black. That's see.
He was quite light, so
He was quite
he
light.
was he looked mixed race passing, but he
Yeah.
was. But I just found that really interesting, and also as well, like again, if we're talking about like education system, I think to be able to educate, you know, young Liverpudlians with the history within the realms of the city, the context and the. It's so rich in its history that Liverpool
Yeah.
has. I think it's a necessity.
Oldest Black community in
especially, but people don't be
UK,
knowing that, and I think there's an ignorance. And I only really saw it after the second Black Lives Matter protest, and it was only when a couple of my friends from London picked up on it, where it was like there's an ignorance and a bit of a dismissal towards other Black cultures within the UK that aren't from London. There's this kind of mentality
But
that
London
Black
people are
London
entitled.
culture is elite. So other Black
Yeah.
cultures, there is a Black community in Newcastle, there is a Black community in Edinburgh, there is, but they're just not
That's one of
celebrated.
the reasons why I said we need to start this
There we
this
go.
Yeah.
This is what I was trying.
Yeah, because I want to hear your point on this.
Okay. Okay. So
Nah, it's just because it's
No, it's
interesting, isn't it?
So this is what I'm saying. So a lot of us are still kind of first, second gen,
Yeah.
and a lot of us keep that ideologies from our parents. So it's still kind of like
Mm.
you're going to Nigeria, you're going to Africa,
Yeah.
you're going these places. We're going to eat the food.
Yeah.
In America, as I said, they're 10, 11, 12. They don't class themselves as African. They are now African American. That's a whole kind of different one.
Slide through.
Oh, you can just go through.
Hold on, so now you all baiting me up that I want to go for a piss. Fuck you.
Well, you're the one you're better up doing sign language. Like, relax.
When it
So
rains, it
then-
pours.
So I've said that like we should now start having more like stuff like Yoruba school, Because that's how I learned how to write in Yoruba. Can't do it as much. See, it's
Mad.
mad because
I started learning by myself.
Not many people can write in Yoruba. A lot of it's not that many.
And it's so funny because
yeah,
I was reading the Do Re Mi,
yeah.
and I didn't.
That's how I got taught all that stuff in the
I
beginning.
didn't realize that because obviously I only know, which is so interesting because people say if a bad will have like so many different meanings. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I'm like, I get it does, but then,
Words that mean like five
But
different things.
I
yeah,
always say
but it's not. It doesn't. It's not actually the same word. It's
different.
what
is
completely said differently. If you listen very well, or if
phonics
you
are
see how,
different.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So Yoruba is, I say this to these
Phonetics.
mans, is actually kind of similar to like Mandarin.
Yeah.
So we have like
Yeah.
kind of similar words and like what Chinese people speak. It's actually same
Yeah, I've
meaning
been
and
told.
stuff.
Yeah.
So when you really deep into it, and when you start learning more, start like looking at like different words and like Chinese
Yeah.
and stuff, and you see the similarities.
It's funny because one of my not 10-year plan, but one of my goals is to like have a school foundation that like specializes with black kids.
Yeah. So this is the thing. So I don't, as I said, I don't think our history should be taught in the syllabus, but there should be establishments where it is now compulsory to be like, instead of you going in on that Thursday class,
Right.
you go to this establishment where it's black run
Okay.
and learn this, because you need to think at the end of the day, like,
It's a white man's
But that
country.
would have to be independent to the actual school.
it has to
system,
be
though.
independent, but at the same time, it now gives black people the opportunity to have black run schooling,
Yeah.
to teach these courses where white people, it's like a white person trying to tell me a white person can't tell me my
then-
history.
Yeah, I get
Excuse me, but then it happens. But then it.
Sorry,
like,
I just heard that. No.
Yeah.
But then I think.
I've only heard that, and I think you're completely
But I think
right.
then also you can have more black teachers. Maybe
Yeah,
then
yeah.
that. And then I was thinking. Not all black history has to be taught.
No,
And I think
all.
also certain black history should be taught at school. For example, there are black kings in this country that are completely written out.
a celebration of black culture,
Right,
rather
there was,
than
and like I think, and now, and I think that why that's so important is because you have, when I was leaving my school, my prep school, there was more black students coming in. I think,
But then, don't you think that's more black? Because now I look at it now, a lot more younger people, especially in Liverpool, there's a lot more younger black people.
Right.
But there's more fluctuation of black people, and there's now where rich people class it as new money. There's
Right.
a lot more black people who have new money.
but then exactly, so then if they're there, I don't think it's necessarily fair on them to then have to sit down and listen to Albert, whoever, Henry VIII or whatever. When it, 'cause
That's
guess
why
what?
you
I don't
go
think
to these establishments.
But then I think it's so important that both white and black students learn different things
Yes.
from both cultures.
But I think what Kolade is trying to say as well, it's about like having
a balance.
the ability to know how the white culture mixes with the black
Right.
culture, because there's a lot of it that
the thing is,
interchanges.
you can't interchange it because white
You
people.
can teach the
you can't teach it.
You can?
No,
But
you
there's-
can't, because I'm gonna say it to the end. You understand this, because at the end of the day, you can't mix white and black history together, because one, white people are too entitled. The end of it, no. It's not even. I'm not even punching it. White people are very too entitled. And wait for it. The people that you consider who are your friends now.
Really and truly say it.
Who are
Say
your
it.
friends now? Imagine one day we become parents. You think their ideologies won't change to be like their parents now?
So you're saying you can't mix cultures. So what if you have mixed race children?
See, but even the parents, I've seen it a lot.
They
a lot
argue.
Even in mixed cultures, you get the rare ones who are like, okay, I'm gonna compromise, but there's still a level of entitlement from the white side.
100%.
Even when it's to do set things, I watch like set programs where. Have you ever watched a program called 90 Day Fiancé?
Heard of it, yeah, and I think I watched that one episode.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
I like the
Like,
view.
even when you see them,
favorite view.
even when you see them go to like these different countries, and for me, like, when I see these are places, I don't think like, oh, these places are shit. But you see, like,
I know what you
see
mean.
these, like, they're like, what the fuck is this? This is slum. But then black people are starting to get that way now. We're starting to turn our nose down on a lot of things.
And I think that's come from Western society.
Yeah, and it's not good, because I see like a lot of people now, like,
Because when I went to Nigeria for the first time, me and my sister and my brother, the way we were brought up, we know our culture, we know where we're from.
Yeah.
So coming to Nigeria wasn't, yeah, we went to private school, and yeah, we live in a nice house, but we never were like, oh my God, look at these people. But loads of people expected us to be like, oh my God. Like, don't get me wrong, there was times where I saw a lady on the street with elephant feet, so like a massive disease and stuff, and that's never something I've never seen before, but I think there's a level of, we were expected to be posh and stuff and snotty and stuff, but we weren't, just because that's not how we were brought up. But there
That's
are
it.
other black people who are like
There
that.
is, and you know what? I see it more and more on social media where everyone feels like this, and this, and we're gonna be materialistic.
But I think on social media, people just do that to
Yeah,
persona.
but then imagine taking them to the village. I know a lot of people will crumble. You see how it's not even just social media. You can now, I see a lot of black girls and I see a lot of black guys.
But sometimes it's not their fault though, because
It's not.
if you only know one way, or you've only been brought up in a specific environment, or what you're fed to, whether it be from how you've been brought up or the media or something, you're gonna envisage that when you go to these places, it's gonna be what I've seen, and like how I'm picturing it, I'm mentally preparing myself that it's gonna be like as bad as people say.
And I also think that, I also think it comes from parenting to a certain extent. I feel like some parents had it so hard in Nigeria and other countries like that, so they're like, they don't want their children to have that sort of upbringing. And then what happens is the balance gets lost sometimes, and I'm lucky that the balance wasn't lost. My parents were really great in that sense, that this is where you come from, remember, but this is where you can go, and don't forget where you come from, don't forget who you are.
What did your mum say? Tell
My mum always says, when she says this to me, I always know she said, remember who you are, remember where you're from. And when she says that, she means you're black, you're Kolade, you're Ladipo, you're Ladipo. Like, remember who you are. That's just helps me ground.
Like, I don't consider myself British. I'm African.
Oh, I've never considered myself. I don't have a British passport.
I've
Please.
I've got a British accent, but I'm
Nigerian.
But this is the thing. That's where it's kind of lost with people in America, and like it's like. But this is what I'm saying. Like there was, fast forward 10 years ago, where
Fast forward 10 years.
backtrack.
Take it, man.
He had a magnum.
Backtrack.
You're disrespectful.
Fast forward 10
I
years
finished
ago.
mine. Have you finished yours?
No, I've got some. Why you want some?
Nah,
Yeah,
go
you-
on.
That's
You know
yours.
me, I'm a
Yeah,
magnum
there's one
fiend.
there.
There's
There's one there.
Yeah, go on. Jacob, do you want a can't read with me? Do you want a magnum, my brother?
In fact, I'm going to keep mine for my KA.
Backtrack 10 years ago, and before the like fluctuation of like Afro beats and so on and so forth, people were ashamed. Black people were ashamed to be African.
Oh.
That's where these colorism chants from our own people, like these African aunties, Then Oliver Twist come out. White man were doing those
My friend in that music video.
No,
shit. Yeah, no, I know.
The bunch came out. Everybody was like, "Yo, I can shaku."
Do you know
Yeah.
what? Do you know what?
Right.
Do you know what I think it is? I don't know whether it's so much a shame, but
It was a shit. That's
No,
the word
not
you
for
want to
some
say.
people,
I don't
because
think
I've never been ashamed of it. But what
Not
I'm
you.
saying,
A lot of people was.
maybe, but what I'm saying is it's not as celebrated and popularized.
It wasn't.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
till when it gets celebrated and
Yeah.
popularized,
It's
everyone's
like-
Oh, shit, yeah.
it's
Everyone wants to be a
Yeah.
part
It's
of
like,
it.
I'm being like this, but now everybody's jumping on the wave.
Yeah,
so
but
now
I've
it's
never-
cool for me
The
to.
cool thing back then was to be Jamaican and say like our Bob Marley.
And you know what's interesting? Because for me, because I was always at a predominantly white school, I was never ashamed to be myself. I never had like a group of black people, black friends who were predominantly Caribbean or something. So I've always been playing Afrobeat. I've always like, it's never been an issue for me.
So
I
like
guess.
you need to think like it's like cultural trends that actually shifts the power of or what is actually deemed cultural acceptable.
Right.
Like I was saying to my friend the other day, like he was like, "Why don't you start to look to invest in a Nigerian restaurant?" And I was like, first of all,
in this country.
in Liverpool. So I was like, first of all,
In London.
In London,
There are-
there's more.
So
there's
this is what I
more.
was gonna say. London can do it, but you need to think like
How many black people
but then
first
is that
of all
not
are
a niche
there?
then? For a Nigerian restaurant to
But
be
then how-
established? Because
In
there's a market
Liverpool?
opening for it. Like,
there's no market opening for it.
Because you need to think of how many people.
How many black people are there?
Yeah.
First of all, how many black people are there?
And-
Where do they live?
okay.
The
Is it
Nigerian,
accessible?
Yeah.
the Nigerian people who are gonna eat or eat
They'll
like
eat at home. Yeah.
But
I don't go to Italian
But don't get it
restaurants
twisted.
because-
Don't get it twisted. In London, and you could potentially get this in Liverpool. My dad will be like, "Yeah, I'm going with my boys. We're going to eat good." Not because my mum can't cook it. Don't get it twisted. Auntie Toyin, my mum can cook, right? But sometimes it's not about he wants to taste someone else's cooking. It's just he wants to go eat with his lads or whatever.
But this is the thing, if let's say there was a place or spot in Liverpool, do you know what I mean? Like if he went over there to say like,
Are you
look,
Jamaican?
nah,
Ghanaian?
Ghanaian, yeah.
Yeah, I did think so.
And my
Didn't I
dad's
say?
like on the Cameroon side.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, you'd say how many times would you then go to that place?
exactly.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. It's like for my dad, he would only go like a couple times.
And maybe it's not just for the food. Maybe it's just because there's
Yeah,
a
it's
space
an
where him
environment.
and his
Yeah,
friends can go
and
and
that's
feel
what it's
comfortable.
for.
And it's owned by black people. There are black
Right.
people around them.
With their
It's a-
language and
yeah,
their culture.
exactly. Maybe
Go
they're
with-
Comfortable.
Going back to what Josh said as
Yeah.
well, like you said, there's not an open market space. I think you mentioned this or referenced it on a pod before.
Did I?
Like
I don't-
there's
I
going to
don't-
be too much wastage also as well.
No. So yeah, there will be, but this is what the point I was gonna get across. So you need to think like places like Turtle Bay and like you need to think like these.
Gentrified a bit.
Right.
A bit.
And that's what Mike Yao.
Okay.
You're too nice.
You don't want to talk about it.
They
You don't
might
want
want
to
to
talk about
sponsor
it.
us one time. Do you get me?
We're not gonna
You
get
never know.
too into
No,
it.
you don't
but
want sponsorships from
You need to
Turtle
think
Bay.
like places like.
I won't let you lot do that.
Unless they step the pussy up.
Yeah, it's true.
There we go.
So like places like Turtle Bay and then Mexican and Spanish. You need
Yeah.
to think these places at one time were high tourist destinations.
Right.
Then you see the fluctuation of like Korean restaurants because now Korea's opened up to be a great tourist destination.
Yeah.
If Nigeria, Africa becomes a tourist destination,
I was just about to say that, yeah.
then I'll open up a Nigerian
Yeah.
restaurant.
Because you have to think of it like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you-
How many white people go to Mexico for
Do you
a,
get what I'm
for a
saying?
holiday?
And then
how
they
many
come back,
do
I'm
they
gonna
go?
make fajitas.
Right.
The
And
only
how many
thing we
people
could probably do if we're gonna do African is North African maybe. If we were like we're gonna do an Egyptian thing because
No, it's not even Egyptian things. Not people are too scared because of the war.
no, I'm saying if you wanted to do that type of food,
Yeah, but then it's still
I'm
that.
saying you'd
it's
have
still
to.
very
And then
niche
that's
still
market.
very niche.
and then
Very
you look at the
niche.
skin color. It's like
It's still
No, obviously,
Egyptian
but I'm just
and
saying like if
Moroccan.
you're trying to.
It still
branch out.
only brings their people. It's not like a very big.
but we still
market.
like Turkish food. I'll go out for Turkish
Indian.
But
food.
that's what I'm saying. How many white people gonna get
Turkish
lipo and stuff? So that's a big fluctuation
Mad.
of people.
Teeth.
Yeah.
You Scousers. I don't think.
Say it.
What were you
I
gonna
was
say?
going to say, I don't think the teeth thing is as big as a thing as it is in London. As it
I don't know what you're on
is
about.
here.
Not gonna lie.
The fake
Oh,
teeth.
really
You
is.
can go
Oh,
and get your
teeth. Oh, yeah.
It is. I don't really see that many London like people like rocking the fake teeth. Here, it's a Scouse thing.
Found my
The-
teeth all real.
Scouse,
me.
Scouse people like
Hey.
They love the
people
teeth,
don't.
innit? Obviously, obviously, some to an extent, the Love Island lot, the Made in
Yeah.
Chelsea lot, but like,
Essex and that.
I be seeing people that like come into what, do you know what I mean? Like, come into my work with like
Shining.
the gnashers, and I'm thinking, do you know what?
Fair play.
Whatever
Fair play,
makes
man.
you happy, innit?
It's the thing. But you need to think where it brings a fluctuation of
Mm.
white people. If I ever like open a restaurant and that, the whole concept of the whole business will change every 5 years.
Okay, cool.
So it'll identify what are the main tourist destinations of that 5 years.
Okay, cool.
And then it will change the theme or change the whole concept of the bar because you need to think like you got your staples like Spanish, Italian, that, but they don't have a longevity. They live and then they die. But then if you capitalize on the market that where a lot of white people go to, like you need to know like Mexico is a big thing, and then a lot
Indian
India's,
restaurants, everyone
you know
gets
what
an
I'm
Indian.
saying?
Fucking hell, get
Croatian
an
food's
Indian.
dead. But a lot of people go, if Croatian food was so live,
Yeah, yeah.
because there's a big fluctuation of people that go Croatia.
But Croatian food isn't really like individual. Do you know what I mean? It's just
just
Mediterranean.
food,
Like,
yeah,
it doesn't have like a delicacy or like a specific thing. Whereas
Yeah.
like Italian, Indian, Moroccan,
Yeah.
Nigerian, like
Yeah.
they have delicacies and specialties within that cuisine that make them special and make them kind of unique. Whereas Croatian, but maybe that's just because we don't have an understanding of it. We don't know. We don't know Croatian.
It's funny because
delicacies.
we went to Hideout. You've been to Hideout also as well. I'm like the most.
I went to Croatia. I've been to Outlook.
I'm like the most
Oh,
fussiest
okay.
eater ever.
Me too.
But like,
Same.
if somebody would say, "Oh, what food did you have in Croatia?" I'd be like,
Chips.
Chicken nuggets and chips.
Yeah.
For real.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what it actually was.
pizza.
Really?
And then some dead salty sausage.
Hold on. What did you have in Napa? Did you have
No, no.
Greek food or did you have like
So-
English? Because this is what I've always noticed. Like whenever we've gone on holiday, the restaurants that we go to that have an English menu, we're like, fuck that.
So
Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely
that's
same, yeah.
we want something that's like authentic,
From
unique.
that
Like
place.
I had two different bits. So the first time I went Limassol first. So
Okay.
I spent like a week in Limassol and then a week in Napa and then another week in Limassol.
rah, so you lot really did a month in
Yeah.
doing the most.
So then the food that I ate in Limassol was like it was hell and
30.
it was I don't know. It was very, very meaty. They season differently from us. I've noticed that countries like a lot of salt in it.
Yeah.
And their meat's quite fatty. Like, for me, yeah, I don't know how do you work out the body mass index for a whole population. But when I went to like, I'll be serious, when I went to like Cyprus, these man were big cats, you know.
Oh, because when they eat them, Cyprus, Greece, and then probably even in Italy, Gaia will tell you, family meal.
No, but
Whole
these
tables,
when
like-
when I see like
A lot though.
Britain,
What, first course, starters, main
The
course,
whole
everything.
thing,
When
like,
see, but I didn't get
And
it.
it's all carb and meat centric.
Yeah, but it's
yeah.
very meat heavy.
Yeah, very
And they were
meat
like,
heavy.
oh yeah, Britain's number one. And when I went Cyprus, man, I seen some big. When I went Limassol, I saw some people. I was like, okay. I was like, yo, like, yeah. But then,
You said, fuck Things.
No, like,
Horrible.
I'm looking kind of big during quarantine, but like it was. If you seen like everyone was stacked, and like I've always had it in my head. Like my mom used to tell me like, oh yeah, when you bake food in Africa, the sun would melt it out to you. I was like, I used to think
That's funny.
when I went to like Limassol, I was like, yeah, the sun ain't doing it.
Not bad, guys.
It
You're
was
rude.
not doing, man. But I was just like, them kind of places. It's just like it's mad how foods are different, but
But do you know what I find so interesting? Like me and Kolade spoke about this a lot. Like I said this yesterday, actually. You know, like these. I don't know what you lot think about the word BAME.
BAME.
Black and ethnic
yeah,
minority.
Nonsense.
Wait, did
Yeah.
that only get made up this year?
No,
No, that's been around for time. Black and ethnic minority.
Never
But
heard
what
of it before.
what I was
Nonsense,
saying, I've said it to
absolute
Kolade and I
nonsense.
said it yesterday. Like what a lot of people don't realise is that I don't really use it and I don't really
Would
like
you
it.
class yourself as BAME?
But I don't know because I'm white passing.
Yeah, but-
I've got mixed heritage, but I am white to
Yeah,
the
to the
naked eye. Yeah,
Black and
BAME and
eth-
ethnic
mi-
minority. It's a very easy
Black
way.
and
It's an
minority
acronym to
ethnics.
like group everyone together.
Yeah.
It's lazy, and I only really did a lot of research into why it's very controversial, and why a lot of people don't like it recently. I've never really used it. It's not really been in my calibre. But what we were saying is that a lot of people don't realise, a lot of white people don't realise that at the very like centre of all of these cultures, black and ethnic minorities, black culture, African culture, Jamaican culture, Asian culture, is the importance of education and respect. And it's mad because it's food, and it's not just like food, but it's a cultural thing to sit at the table with your family.
Yeah.
That's a layer of respect,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
communal, and it's love, and it's expression of where you come from. You're
Yeah.
eating the food where.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's very, very personal. And that's when I came to uni, I was like, this is a bit mad because I struggled because I was used to eating with my family the food
I was the
I don't
same.
eat when I'm at home. I don't eat fucking. We don't have Christmas dinner at my house. I don't have bangers and mash. I don't
Never.
eat typically British food in my house, and I never have.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I find that interesting that amongst all these different cultures, African, Caribbean, Indian, even Greece, like even these anyone that's not British, basically, at the epicenter of like
No, it's true.
family is
You
this
sit together,
food,
eat together.
and it's not just
Interesting,
about
we didn't.
food. It's about
didn't eat together?
respect.
We didn't. So I think it specifically happened because my mum worked night
Yeah,
shifts.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
she
my
was
dad.
a nurse?
Pardon?
A doctor or a nurse?
Nurse, but she worked at Roma when we first moved to this country because she was a housewife when we lived in Germany. And then she said to my dad, I can't do this anymore. Like, I actually can't. Like, I love the kids, of course, but I can't stay and look after them every day.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So she wanted to start working. So she worked at Roma in the evening and night shift. So then she'd cook. And then we learned how to cook through her. So we would cook for ourselves eventually.
Well, he can cook, like
That's good.
That's
But
sick.
I think that's
Yeah, it's important, I guess.
If
So-
my mum didn't teach us, like,
But there's a
I mean,
difference
they get
between
it 'cause
cooking and then enjoying it. Like
Yeah.
Kolade enjoys to cook, and I think that's.
enjoy to cook.
I
do you
think
know
it's
what I
'cause
mean?
I think I mainly enjoy cooking because I cook with my mum and my sister
Yeah.
in the kitchen.
And
I
And
think that's the
kind of
family.
bonding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Family
that was the
element to it.
bonding I had.
Don't get it
with my
twisted. When my mum says we're eating at a dinner table, we are eating at the dinner
That's
table.
what I mean. Like it's not
Sunday-
just
every
you're
Sunday
sitting
after
down
church.
to eat food. Like it's so much more personal than that.
Yeah.
And even like there's a lot of crossovers. And I was having this conversation the other day with someone like what people think, for example, like Indian food. Chicken tikka masala isn't Indian. Also, if you go to Italy, nobody eats spaghetti bolognese. We don't eat that shit in
they
Italy.
don't.
Like
There's lots of dishes that
What
are
the
just
fuck?
they've been
Don't you eat pizza
created.
like that on a regular basis? 'Cause
Pizza?
I
You
watch,
said spaghetti bolognese.
I watch Munchies and them man are different. They deep fried pizza
Yeah.
on the. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah.
but the pizza's made.
the pizza's made different
Fresh, thin
in every
base.
different region. The pizza will be different. So
Yeah.
Napoli pizza will be sourdough, thick base, like bit soft, bit doughy. Roman pizza's a bit thinner. Like it just depends where you're from. But things like spaghetti bolognese and like chicken tikka
I guess
masala.
it's the same with
that's
Africans.
not
Like,
Italian
people
and
think
Indian
they
food.
eat
I
That's
jollof
don't know,
rice.
you know, I've never had
It's-
gentrified
it's,
Nigerian food.
If I did, it'd be mad as.
Because I don't know.
But people only think we only eat rice.
No, it's true. But
We do. It's true. Too. Like, there's beans, there's akara,
That's you
there's
who
all these
eats
all the
rice.
breakfasts.
But
People don't
you
think we have
need to,
our
But
breakfast.
you need to think about that though. You can't make them ingredients here because you need to think here. You haven't been in Nigeria. Wait, the Nigeria like I go to when I go to in the morning.
You
There's
need
a
that
woman.
fresh from the soil.
What, from the soil?
Some of the ingredients you need it fresh.
No, not from the soil. No one makes pap in my house. So there's a lady who brings oogie.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So there's
See,
a woman
we
who-
never eat at home unless someone's gone to Nigeria
so
to get it. Yeah,
Somebody.
What's that?
Oogie
it's
is
like custard.
It's like custard.
We call it. we call it custard for the white people.
But it's
nothing
like
custard.
I'm trying to. It's like maize. Do you know maize?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like maize, but it's like watery down.
And then it's like fermented and it's like watered down. It's like,
Would you have it
it's like,
savoury or sweet?
You can have
I
both.
like it sweet.
So you have it
Put
with
sugar
like,
in it?
and
I put
condensed
bare
milk.
sugar in it.
My mum
Yeah.
eats, we
I
have
don't
something like
like
that
it
in
when
Zambia
I
as
milk
well.
it.
Where
Yeah.
my mum eats it with corn, it's a bit of milk in it. And stuff.
Yeah.
But even like think about, I was
the way
saying
I
this
have
to you,
it.
like the parallels between like Latin food and African food are very, very similar. So a lot of Latin like meals are based around like mice, corn, plantain.
My guy said mice.
Mice.
Mice. So I said,
I didn't want to say that.
no, but you
I
were
say in Italian mice.
Oh,
You
okay.
say- sorry.
we will be looking in our Latin dictionary, in our Italian dictionary that you get, don't worry.
I was like, what?
But there's a lot of like in Latin, like especially like Southern American food.
Yeah.
They eat plantain, they eat rice, they eat
Yeah,
cornbread.
but then
like,
also there's
so many
a
parallels.
huge Yoruba culture in Brazil.
Yeah. So you know Havana.
Yeah.
It's actually made. The ingredients is from a guy from Nigeria, and he infused it in like Cuba and stuff. But this is what we were saying about the food. The things that you can't really eat. It's like I can say the thing that's more gentrified right now is jollof rice.
Yeah, because
the
it's rice and you can just.
It is. But the other meals as well, you can't like.
But won't
Your
jollof rice
suya-
be cooked different in different like regions, different areas?
I don't know. I
know
think the
what?
only thing that really changes is the rice.
I think also how people season it is the difference.
Yeah.
really.
It's different because I don't like long grain. I don't trust
It's
people.
basmati only,
yeah,
baby.
I don't trust
Yeah.
people eat long grain.
That's like
I really don't.
I'll eat both.
or like
I'm
easy
a
cook,
fuss.
easy cook rice. No fucking
see,
way.
See them kind of people that eat them kind of rice. Don't trust them.
I eat both.
But
so
no,
I'm not fussed.
basmati rice only.
Yeah, man.
Only
I
basmati.
don't
Only
even eat
basmati
rice like that
rice.
anyway.
I see like a lot of people making their own twists. Like I seen someone make jollof the other day, and he put curry powder in the thing. I was like, rah.
Curry powder in jollof?
Yeah, when in the actual, it was actually a Yoruba lady as well. She was saying how she puts curry powder in when she blends the.
That's a real
Yeah.
But
that,
then
you know.
some people don't actually use peppers. A lot of people use chopped tomatoes. So like,
See, if I was to cook it, I'd put chopped tomatoes, plum tomatoes,
See,
paprika, rodo, so Scotch bonnet,
Yeah.
onions. So it's just, I think there's.
his is completely different from mine because with mine I don't use tin stuff. So I'd use.
But then I used to use tomato puree.
No, I don't even use
Derica.
puree either.
So it's interesting.
So I use.
with my mum would say you have to use
yeah,
Derica.
because it gives it that red.
Red colour, yeah.
But I use like fresh tomatoes.
We use fresh tomatoes too, though.
2 sweet peppers. You know the long ones.
You use sweet peppers in the
Yeah.
So yeah, we'd never. Well,
So I use, or you could use fat ones, but I like the.
Do you make do
sorry.
you make jollof in Zambia?
No, not in Zambia, but me personally, just because obviously I've got
Yeah, you
some
like it,
Nigerian
yeah.
friends. Then I like to cook anyway and experiment. So
Yeah.
that's me.
but yeah, I guess you're so right with.
It's different. It's completely different.
But
and
going
it's-
quickly just back to what you said about different foods from Nigeria, you can't cook them
You
here.
can't cook them.
You
here.
can't.
You can't. And even the people who make the ogi and the akara, do you need a grinder to grind the maize and to have that fluctuation? No one could go round.
Fluctuation is your favourite word, isn't it? I've heard this man say fluctuation about 20 fucking times.
You're rude. Allow him.
No, it's a sick word.
He doesn't have the
Yeah, man.
repertoire.
Next time you see me chatting and I say fluctuation, just know that it came from me.
See, you don't have the repertoire like me.
Innit? I love it. Fluctuation, it's a sick
And,
word.
you know.
You need to think as well, like, it's like people doing a paper round. So you know when we was younger, where people used to do milk rounds, class ogi people as people doing the milk rounds for us. So maybe we need to have people who do that. But then I don't think my palate is for that. But then my palate is for like, I'd eat pounded jam for breakfast. I have no shame. Like, I wake
My
up.
grandma
and
used to do that, you
Yeah, I
know.
wake up and eat pounded. All through Corona, I was eating pounded yam and soup. I eat meat from like 9 a.m. But then a lot of I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
But Jamaican,
I'm not gonna
even
lie.
Indian breakfast,
No, I
Jamaican
just think
breakfast.
it's too heavy for
It
the
could-
morning.
It's I don't really eat breakfast. But if there was pounded jam downstairs, or my mum's compound, absolutely, because we yam for breakfast.
Yeah.
Yam.
Yeah, the properties are like incredible. Like
Yeah,
their
I feel
protein.
to
and
me it's too heavy. I
We
can't
eat
stop
yam
on
and
eggs.
egg or yam and stew, yam and eggs. My
I
mum's
would do that
stew
and
for
eat
breakfast.
that, and you know what? I'm good, but then a lot of people now, the thing is, a lot of people wanna make things look appealing, and like our foods, it is appealing, but it's not appealing to the masses.
It's like when I see peas and jollof rice, I'm like, what are you doing?
Wait, relax. We don't do that all the time, innit? But sometimes when you put like peas and king prawn in it, mwah.
In jollof rice,
Fam,
when you have fried rice.
When are you going to London?
I'm not sure, probably most likely next week.
Okay, hopefully on Sunday I'll persuade my mum to make jollof.
Okay, cool, calm.
Fam.
Okay, cool.
And wait.
I won't knock you until I've tried it.
My mum's jollof bangs. It slaps.
Yeah, it is good actually.
Yo, it's actually.
I can't lie.
That's what I mean. Like each different family, it doesn't matter if you're like, you could both be from the same place in Nigeria. Your family will add their adaptation to the mix. Do you know what I mean? And then that's what makes it. Do you know what I mean? Personal.
Yeah, it's just how it is. It's just how it's done, really. But we just need to bring that culture. Maybe we need to start like doing it in school dinners.
But then do you also know I think it goes
take to make.
I don't know, man. If they can, I don't know. I remember when Jake Chicken was a big thing. They tried to do it in my
really.
school.
That's
You tried to do it in your school?
Yeah,
that is mad.
Yeah, do you
Of
know?
all schools,
Like,
you know.
This is what I'm saying. Like
Jeff
when,
Rice.
when
Do you remember when Uncle Ben's rice came out?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, did they?
Mad.
there was a point where, you know, when before Levi Roots, when Levi Roots brought out reggae sauce.
Yeah.
Fam, we were still in school then.
Yeah.
So like everyone thought, yo, we're gonna. Even as they jumped on that thing, they started doing like as the fries with Jack
Jake's
flavouring.
flavouring,
Yeah.
Jack sauce or
So then
whatever.
our school.
But
used
if
to
you
do-
actually look at the ingredients, it's not the same as Jack. And also, like, bearing in mind, like, especially, like, I've got a friend, bless her.
Processed as well.
I'm not even going to name and shame, but there's just, if you haven't had spicy food within, like, it's not in your palate, you're not going to be accustomed to it. So I had a friend, she was just like, I don't like spice at all. This girl wouldn't even be able to eat chili sensations. So we made a stir fry, just put some prawns in it, I put pepper, soy sauce, fish sauce, bit of paprika. I didn't put any spice in it, and it was too spicy for her. But if at home you've been accustomed to eating spicy food and you're used to it, your levels of heat are going to be different. But especially in British cooking, there's not really any kind of like basic level of spice. In Italian cooking, there definitely is. In Indian cooking, in African cooking, in Jamaican cooking, in Caribbean cooking, spice is like
Baseline.
the
thing.
core. Do you know what I
I cooked
mean?
for my
And it's
friend-
mad.
Yeah, I cooked for my friend the other day. It's very funny. Actually, about a week ago. And I obviously put loads of spice in it. And he was
Yeah.
like, all I can taste is spice. But for me, obviously, I can taste the spice and I can taste
Yeah.
the flavour.
Yeah.
See, I don't taste the spice like that. I can back like 3 like Scotch bonnets in food.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah,
3 is
I'm just
really
like-
nothing, yeah.
I'm like, this is calm, but I see people sweating. I thought, what are you sweating off?
Why are you
Yeah,
sweating?
man, like I can eat it, and I'm like,
I like spice, but when it's not enjoyable, when it's too hot, I've had like some Indian stuff where I'm like, I
It has
can't.
to have flavour to it. doesn't
Yeah,
it?
and I'm just like, it's just overpowered by the spice. Even in Italian, where I'm from in Italy, the south, I've got a chili tattoo because that's the symbol of where I'm from in Italy is a chili.
Fire,
so my
yeah.
grandma has like for years she's always like dried her chilies like on her balcony. She
Nonna.
grinds them, nonna, you know the fucking words, you know the fucking. She grounds her chilies herself and she makes like, so you know like the chili flakes you get in the shop.
yeah,
She'll make
yeah.
that herself. And Matty, every time I go to Italy, Matty's like, bring me out that chili stuff because we'll put it on everything. Matty will like bring me back and she
That's why I
grinds
love-
it herself.
That's why I love Cameroon pepper.
yeah.
Because
The
they
best.
dry it out. I think it's Scotch bonnets, but and then it has this beautiful flavour to it. It's just so good.
But again, if it's not at the centre of like British cooking, like
No,
if you
it's
think British cooking, it's like a lot of British cooking to me, like I can't ever say I've had a roast dinner in my house. My mum and dad would never make a roast dinner. I've had a roast dinner at my friend's house, maybe at my nan's, but roast dinner, you know,
Bangers and mash.
Christmas dinner. I have never ever eaten that at my house. When I was
Swear.
younger, it was my friends used to love coming to my house because my
was
mum's
different.
cooking,
Yeah.
and also my dad can do the Indian. Even my mum, my mum can fuck up an Indian thing as well.
Wow.
You know? So like,
Guam,
but-
Mama
but-
Abuja.
I feel like British food is very like warm and comforting, like soups or like broths or like
Your face when you
pies.
say it
Like,
as well.
You know what? Do you
Can't
know what's
stand it.
funny? I like your parents. My mum, yeah. Because when you saying that, I started getting flashbacks of my past. I'm laughing.
Yeah, which one's Yoruba and which one's Igbo?
Oh, so my mum's Yoruba and my dad's Igbo. But like, my mum tried to remix like classics, English classics.
Go on.
But with the Nigerian twist.
go on.
This one.
My mum did the exact same thing. My mum did the exact same thing. Oh my
A little bit
God. Let's just say we never ate that food ever again.
Tried to make it. She's done it with lasagna and she's done it with roast dinner.
Lasagna.
Wow.
Oh my God.
In the Benin.
And you know what's funny? She thought it was like
What did she put in it to make it?
So the first one was like, I think she's making lasagna, and the way she give it like this, like when you're making soup, you know, instead of buying like the tomato sauce, she's making stew in it.
That's how, no, I'm not gonna lie.
Also-
That's how we make our bolognese. So don't get twisted.
So
we make.
but it's different. It was a whole complete different kind of taste. And then she packed it with chili. So mom thought I was eating normal lasagna and the heat. You know when you don't prepare yourself for it, yeah?
Yeah, as a what?
And then she made roast dinner one time. Oh, fam.
But you know what? My mum, when she makes her lasagna, she does. The stew is initially started to make like she's making normal stew, and then the mint is just cooked normally and then seasoned like she would season meat, I guess. And then when you mix the two, it's just our bolognese.
Yeah.
So I guess to a certain extent it is.
But you know what's bad? I can't say I've ever eaten lasagna in Italy.
Yeah?
No, we don't
It's
eat
not
that
an
shit.
Italian. Yeah.
And also,
It's
again, it's within regions. Italy is very, very, very like compartmentalized. It's very different. So the north of Italy, it's
Bougie.
it is so different to the south.
Bougetto.
Northern Italian Italy, like Italians call Southerners mongrels because we are very influenced. We're very close to Morocco and Albania. So typically, there are people. I shit you not. There are people
Who are
in
darker skin,
very like dark features. Like they look Arab.
Yeah.
My mum's dialect, so it's like Catalan and Spanish. My mum's dialect. Someone from Florence wouldn't be able to understand my mum, and it's
Or
got
from
a
Sicily.
it's got a very throat based like. It's got a lot of Arab influences, but the cooking's different, the flavours are different, and it's mad. But I've
by the
never,
coast?
ever had lasagna in Italy.
South
ever.
by the coast. Is that where you're from?
Yeah.
A lot of fresh fish.
Are you
and
from the
stuff.
south of
Fish.
Italy or you like
No,
top of
I'm from the
Sicily?
I'm from the
South.
bottom
No, I mean
of the
or
bottom.
from top of Sicily.
Oh, you're from Sicily?
No,
No.
where I'm from is in between Naples and Sicily. It's called Calabria.
Okay, cool.
But like again, cooking's different. So up north they'll have a lot of like pasta, like Alfredo, it's like cold pasta, like a lot of creamy based stuff. A lot of like carbonara. We don't eat that in the south. It's fish, it's meat, it's a lot of
Grilled
like
hams or like
yeah,
that.
like spice. We had. I've never eaten lasagna in Italy. Never eaten bolognese. Again, like if you go to Rome, you go to the centre, and if you see a restaurant that has British writing on the menu, just don't eat there because it's not
the
being
same.
cooked by Italians, and it's not going to be authentic Italian food. If you're going
We're
to
trying
Rome,
to cater to the
Yeah, that's
tourists.
what it is.
again,
Tourists.
they're their palate. You're not
Yeah.
going to have authentic. But again, yeah, where I'm from, it's a lot of. I love fish. I could eat fish every single day.
I love salmon.
Which
Oh
is
my
why
God.
like things like calamari, I can't be eating them in England because
not the
when
same.
I've
It's
had
not the same.
calamari, I can taste it as fresh. Like here, it's just been deep fried. It's been
It's
sat in
frozen,
a
yeah.
freezer. It's been dashed in a deep fat fryer, and I can taste it. It's chewy. Like it's not the same.
I've had my calamari for me is my favorite dish.
I love
But
calamari.
So good.
The bad outweighs the good. Like,
You know why?
There's been so
You know
So
why?
many.
It's because we like almost any restaurant we go to.
I always order
Yeah,
calamari.
but when we've done it across the world as well.
Everywhere
So where's
though,
been the best
and
calamari
it's
in the
the-
UK?
Oh, shit.
Hey, hold on, let me think a minute. Nowhere.
At the end of the day, it's not going to be fresh. So it's not going to slap as
Do
much
you know
as
what
the
it
fresh.
is? I don't think any in the UK is, unless you eat it from outside the UK, you're not gonna think
I don't know,
it's
man.
bad.
I had some trash calamari in Spain.
No, I know that. That's
Oh
what I'm saying.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
dead.
yeah. Don't get a twist. Yeah.
It's dead there as well. But what I
Yeah.
mean is that like if you only had a certain standard in a certain
Yeah,
place,
like me. I've only had calamari in this country.
Yeah, you're
But I could never have oysters or mussels in this country. I just could never.
I'm too
really?
scared of
I could
getting
never.
food poisoning.
I had it in Spain and it
I've
was
had
delicious.
mussels before,
It just would never be the same in this country. So I'm just like.
I don't like that.
oysters are dead.
I hate
No,
oysters.
no. I will not allow there to be any slander of oysters or mussels in this room because I've had.
I like
them.
mussels, but oysters.
No, it was.
If
And
you
they did
don't
it in
have
like
like
a
a proper
spaghetti.
like an Italian spaghetti vongole, which is like a seafood spaghetti, and
Yeah.
it's so garlicky.
Oh, it was so good.
Fresh chilies, mussels, like everything.
If I had one of them in Portugal.
I had it in Spain. It was
Not the
awful.
same, my brother.
No, it's
the
not.
same.
I
Never
was gonna say. I probably could have cooked.
But
that
again, like
something
Portugal's
it.
another.
It's good.
Again,
but-
there's so many crossovers. Again, Portugal's by the sea. Their influences for their food is going to be like fish, carb.
all the fish was fresh because.
Do you know what I
was
mean?
right next to
There's
the
a
other
lot. There's a lot of
Spain.
there's a lot of parallels. The only one that's very different to me and a cuisine that I've never really fucked with is French. I just never really liked it. I think it's bland.
Yeah.
French, like what?
It's quite-
steak. Nah,
quite
it's
sauce
quite
based
flavourless.
and-
Nah,
Yeah.
I've never really liked French food.
That's not something I think about often. I'm not gonna lie.
And do you know what's mad? Actually, when I went to Paris, I had some good roast chicken. It was actually very
Did you?
good. No, it was
Okay.
actually very delicious.
I loved the snail when I was there.
Yo, man,
I've
do you
never
know
tried
what?
no snail.
Snail. I don't
I
know
need
about.
that.
I want to have snail in Nigeria because apparently it's
Escargot.
really big there.
Fam,
Escargot.
escargot is not the thing. African snail, yeah. Fam,
Them henchmen?
fam, you can get it in They don't really sell it in Granby or no more.
Well, I don't
get
really
it.
want to.
And it's like when you cut it, It's like
Why
it's like,
is your hand like that? Is it big?
Yeah, it's wild.
No,
yeah.
big one.
It's
In
layers.
France, you're doing that. You're doing that.
In Nigeria, you're doing
that's what
big
I'm
bangla,
saying.
like,
So when you slice it, it's like the size of my palm, innit?
What the fuck?
it's like this big.
It's like a little beef burger patty. That's the size of it, but it tastes.
And what would you eat it with?
Fam, with soup. Snail is the what I mean. Like when my mom used to make snail in soup, I wouldn't eat the meat. I'll finish all the snail because this
is mad. Have you eaten it?
Not snail.
It is
last time I
delicious.
went to, not the last time
I
I went
really
to
wanna taste
Zambia.
it.
Like,
The
it is
last time I
very
went to
good.
Zambia, I don't really eat meat in it, but the last, so this is like
Yeah,
5
you're on
years
this
ago.
vegan thing, and do you know what? I fucking rate it.
Thanks.
I do.
About 5 years ago when I did, I tried it. Like obviously I didn't want to be rude and whatever with grandparents and whatever.
Yeah.
Trying
You're
to
yamming
if we
now.
get a neck slap.
In it, trying the old delicacies that I would normally eat. So we have something called capenta, which is like small. It's like small caterpillars basically. But yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, I used to back it. I didn't think anything of it. 7 years old, man, I'd be.
Yeah.
Grew up a bit older, and when you realise what you're
What it
eating,
is,
and that,
yeah.
you're like, these are like little caterpillars and stuff. Tried to eat it, fam. I thought I had malaria or something the next day. I'm not gonna lie, my stomach was finished. I was tears coming
I
out my
always think
eyes.
that. So I've got a friend who's been vegan for quite a while, and I always think like if she was to eat meat, I don't think she'd be very well.
No, she
Do you know what I
wouldn't.
mean? Because
Yeah,
your
there's
body's
science-
become
there's a
so
science behind-
accustomed.
there's a science behind
your
it.
Body,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
with dairy. I don't eat dairy
hate
at
dairy.
all.
No,
But like
but-
it's mad. Like if your body's been accustomed to not eating meat, especially dairy,
Anything, if you
and
do
then
for a
you
long
eat
enough
it,
time.
like
Yeah,
you're
you-
not going to be well.
So like
you know what I mean?
Tolerance to it.
during this period, like beforehand, I used to eat more meat than carbs. So it was more like 70-30.
So,
It was
but
split.
what kind of all meat?
Like,
Red meat?
No, just chicken and fish
Okay.
more than. But my
White meat.
carbs were quite low. But then during this whole like lockdown, I've eaten more carbs, and I used to blow quite quick. But now my 5 months of just eating that, my whole body's adjusted to it now.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, and like I'm happy now that I can start back on more pan the jam.
Yeah.
I feel light on my toes because I used to eat it, and if I eat loads, it's done. Like we ate a pizza on show. I passed
Where
out.
from?
It was just a
Domino's.
normal Domino's
Guy
pizza.
was sleeping.
Yeah, so this one
Guy
I'm saying.
thinking, why didn't you get me fun?
Oh yeah.
When I like,
All I asked for was salt and vinegar crisps. What the fuck?
oh,
No,
you got,
I'm
you
joking,
got
I
two
got
magnums.
Magnum.
We can get scran after
Nah,
this. Don't
nah,
worry,
nah.
let's eat. We'll eat a proper meal. We'll talk because I want to hear more of his story.
Yeah,
Lol,
I was going to
you
ask
will,
you,
you
lot,
will,
what
you
is your death row meal? You can have a starter, a main, and a dessert.
When you say death row meal, like
So like
if
you're,
you're on
you're
death-
about to get lick off. You've got one last
My guess
chance
is-
to eat.
Okay, let's hear yours. Let's hear yours first.
who's preparing the food?
Anybody.
My mum, obviously.
There you go.
Okay.
So
Relax.
that's what I mean.
I don't know. I don't really like all these Michelin star places. Man.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No,
Can
but
I
that's what I mean.
prepare
So
it
mine would be
myself?
my
Okay.
nan's food. If I had one last dinner before if I was going, and also like I'm not really a big dessert. You know, I'm not really a sweet tooth.
I'm
not
a
really
my
sweet
dessert,
galore.
my dessert's getting substitute for another savoury thing. I'd way
I'm
rather
the
have
same.
in it.
I'm
Fuck a
the same,
dessert.
yeah.
I have
I'd
to have
rate-
some ice cream.
I'll have
I'm
two
so
mains.
sorry.
Nah, I'll have two mains.
Same.
Okay.
I'll have
My
two
starter
mains.
will be two
Go
mains.
ahead.
I think my starter would be. I think my starter would be something fish based, so like prawns. There's something called gambas
Ooh.
salalias, which is like.
Say it again.
Do you know it?
Say it again.
How did you do that?
Gambas salalias.
Gambas
Yeah.
That's what they're growing on.
Mm.
It's like big prawns, but you got like a little relish on it with a
Yeah,
little bread on the side.
and it's like very
Oh,
garlicky.
bruschetta. Mine's trying to be posh.
Bruschetta.
I love
Do
bruschetta.
you know what's mad? It's bruschetta. It's not bruschetta. It's bruschetta.
Bruschetta, like a skirt.
bruschetta.
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 And then the main would be like, when I say like a full spread, so like, you know how like British people have like the Sunday roast with all the trimmings? Mine would be like my nan's curry with every single thing. The rotis, the poppadoms, the retta, the cut, like the salad, everything.
Let's go for Indian. after
Roti,
this.
I know. I was thinking.
Nah,
she
do you know
said
what?
roti,
Do you know
I
what
was like,
bangs
yo.
as well? And I was saying this to someone the other day. There aren't a lot of. Have you guys ever had Trinidadian food?
Nah.
No, but apparently a
Trinidadian
bang.
food and Indian food, like there's a
Our
lot of
friend,
parallels.
Oh, was it?
Trinidadian food, oh my god!
Who
So
was
they
it? Not
rotis,
Coco. I was called Coco.
shaka.
Shaka.
Trinidadian food. There's a Trinidadian place in like near my house, in Clapham, and it's rotis, and it says like they pack it in this parcel with loads of curry. It's so nice. So it's kind of like a fusion between like Indian and like Caribbean slaps. But I think my dessert would be like some kind of like again anything like carb and like curry based. Yeah.
And what drink to go with that?
Drink.
Apple juice, crack juice.
Listen, if I'm going, I'm gonna go off with a bang. So I'm gonna have a couple magnums.
Not your crackhead juice.
Oh, I do love my crack tea. So there's this drink. It's a Portuguese drink. My mum always used to buy it, but then it used to make me like, like it's proper sugary. They have it in like the foreign food section in Tesco. It's massive, and it's apple and cherry.
Is it the one with the green label?
Yes.
Okay, I know the one.
And
you're
it
talking
tastes.
about.
That's the only drink that I've had that hasn't been struck by the sugar tax because it is sweet.
Yeah.
It is sweet, and I don't even like sweet stuff, but it's
love
very
me some
very
sweet
nice.
stuff.
Okay.
But something like that, something home cooked, like I don't like the Michelin star stuff. What it's just like a little leaf and a little bit of ting. Nah, fuck all that. You'll leave and your belly's still rumbling. No, something like that.
What's yours?
Okay, so I think my start would be like a massive like salmon fillet with my mum's giz doodle, so gizzard and plantain with the sauce mixed in it. And then my meal would have to be like a spread of fried rice, jollof rice, chicken, plantain, more giz doodle, and just like all our like main dishes that we'd all have.
Okay.
And then I think my dessert would probably be like puff
I was
with
gonna say
ice
puff,
cream,
puff,
something like that. Yeah,
Okay.
all has to be cooked by my mum though. Everything.
What are you telling me?
I don't know, because I'm just trying to think who that has to prepare it, but I'm not sure. If I could prepare my own meal, fam, I make a banging jackfruit curry. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it on your Insta.
Jackfruit, come on.
What's a jackfruit
No, no,
curry?
no, no.
My mum's made a jackfruit curry.
If I make you the
Let's try it.
jackfruit curry, then you'll be asking for it again.
Yeah.
What is it?
Jeez.
Jackfruit is a fruit you can get in, Asia, India. You can get it in South America and stuff. It's like a big fruit, comes from a tree. The
They
natural.
have it in tortilla. They have it as a substitute for meat.
Yeah.
It's banging.
So
My
the-
friend who's a meat eater always gets jackfruit at tortilla.
Yeah, so the actual fruit is sweet, but when you take it and you put it in
yeah.
like whatever, it's not really that sweet. But you can season it however you want because it's meant to have like a texture kind of like pulled pork.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't really taste like meat. But it's like something because you can spice it up however you want. It gives that kind
Meat
of like
sort of effect.
yeah,
It's kind of neutral, and you can do it.
yeah, you can do whatever with it. So I do that, and obviously I like quinoa, and I'm not really keen on rice.
Hold on, you'd eat quinoa for your death row meal?
In
Fam,
it.
listen, no, but
Listen.
but if I show you the meal, it's on my phone.
Show
I'll
me
show
then.
you. After this, I'll show
I
you.
want to taste it.
No, I'll cook it for you. one
Yeah,
day.
Me
I'm
and
waiting.
quinoa.
Because
I'm
I've
waiting.
actually perfected it.
Quinoa tastes like pellets.
It's true. You get
It is. But the thing is,
Can't believe I'm thinking
I'll
of.
season the quinoa in it and I'll make it fluffy.
Well, season the
it's not
pellets.
this guy. But then, I still do eat fish on occasion, so I'd have the same. I'd have a prawn
Oh, so you're
fish.
vegan now?
No, I'm not vegan.
Pescatarian?
More or
Well, he's
less.
plant-based.
Plant-based 'cause
you can
I'll-
still eat meat.
Yeah, but I don't eat meat though. I'll eat chicken if I really wanted to, but I don't eat meat.
Got
get
you.
me?
Okay, Trigger, what you telling me?
Oh man.
That probably
So
sounds-
I can't cook African food. I can't even cook British food. I can cook for myself, but no, I ain't a cook like all you
But you don't
people
have,
in
you don't
here.
have to cook for your death row meal.
I know,
Yeah, you can.
Anyone
get
can
it.
Can I
cook.
say anything?
but even still though, I don't even know what I would eat.
Really?
Yeah, all I know is that I love my mum's jollof rice in it.
Okay, then you're having
Like,
your
you like
jollof
your
rice.
jollof?
Yeah,
What country
that-
are you from? Ghana, sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
Ghana. So like, obviously jollof rice has got to be in there, but I don't really eat that much breakfast. So I'll probably have like fruit or something plain like that.
My
And I
breakfast
don't-
would definitely be orgy and akara. Oh my god.
Fam,
Oh,
And then I don't
I'm
even eat
plantain. I
desserts
forgot
either.
to say I'm
Yeah.
plantain as well.
okay.
Like just on the side of everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every dish.
Every dish.
Just
A drink,
plantain
a
in.
drink, your favourite drink? Like you're about to go, the last thing that's going to...
I'm having Courvoisier and apple juice. Don't sleep on it.
That's a big drink.
Innit?
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I might just back water. I'm not actually means nah.
Water.
They have to give you water for free anyway, so what do you mean?
Die.
If water's for free, then
But it depends, man. That prison tap water might taste funny. So I'm like,
Get you that fresh Voss
Yeah,
Yeah,
water.
that's
Yeah.
smart, that's smart.
If not,
Yeah, smart.
then the red Mirinda.
okay.
Oh, I love the red
That
Mirinda.
one bangs.
Or a Schlur.
Nah, the red
Oh, I
one.
just have a
bangs.
Schlur, actually.
You love... there's a couple of people that love Schlur, you know.
It's
It
'cause my
only
mum-
gets backed out at Christmas.
That's deadly.
No,
Who
yeah.
drinks Schlur? across
No,
the
but have you
year?
had a Schlur slushy? My godsister put me
Oh,
on.
yeah?
You put it in the freezer, and then you take it out after I don't know how freezing works or whatever, and then you just stab it a little and then
Okay.
delicious.
Go on, Josh.
Man. Shit. I think I'll have Accra. Accra will be one of my starters. And I also have calamari.
What is Afra?
Accra is like bean cake. I don't like moi moi, but I like
Oh,
Accra.
bean. Okay.
See, but have you had moi moi wrapped in leaf, or have you had it like in a tin? Because there's different ways, and there's so I've had.
You can, them Chinese takeaways tins you get.
Yeah.
You
put
put,
your-
you put the bean paste and you steam it. So it's just a
Is
way
that the one
to-
with the egg in it?
You can, yeah. You can have
Yeah,
that
I'll
goldfish.
have the egg in it.
But so
And then
basically, what you do is you get your beans, you peel off all the skin, you rub it,
Yeah.
and then you blend it and season it.
And season
But
it that way.
I think the crunchiness of akara is just
See, Accra
Ankara.
is actually that sound effect he did was legit. Like Accra would be.
and then and the thing is, when it's so hot and crunchy, and then
Oh,
you put it in the ugi, which is really really soft, and then
Oh,
because No, my mum said my mum when we went to Nigeria, my mum called my grandma. And she was like, "You have to cook ankara, and you have to cook ugi because the way I eat it off." She's
I
like,
love akara. Like akara would be the thing. Then I think my main will be jollof, and then I'll also have ogbono soup and then panda jam.
I've not had ogbono soup in like
I eat ogbono like
10, 11 years.
At least twice a week. And like I don't back any other soup now because
Egusi.
I don't like egusi like that. I don't know. I like egusi with rice, but not with.
I remember the first time I had it with rice. I was very confused. it was very nice, but I just, it's very different because it's really like soft. I was confused.
It's different. I don't like it with panda yam,
but I love eforiro and
that's good.
In La Sapa. Oh God! I need to go home. I've not been home in 8 months, boy.
So I'll have that, and then I'll have to end it with puff puff.
Yeah,
I'll have to end it with good puff puff, and then my drink has to be a guava Rubicon.
Ooh, never had it.
Do you know actually what?
Guava Rubicon's so bad.
Yeah, it is.
It's actually so
The
delicious.
mango one is
Peanut punch
is way
as
too
well.
sweet.
I love
When you
peanut
take
punch.
Peanut
guava,
punch bangs.
Boy, I don't know
He
what
said,
this.
boy.
That guava Rubicon, yeah. I had lychee the other day. and I
Nah,
was
the
like,
guava
yo.
one.
I love lychees.
But when you get to the
Yeah.
end
Yeah,
of a Rubicon though, there's bare
It's because you have to shake it
sweetness.
every time. You have to
I
shake
don't
it.
know, you have to shake it. The
Yeah.
can's fizzy.
No, there's still one.
I never get it from the
I've
bottle.
never had a fizzy one.
Nah, not the fizzy one, the still one.
Yeah, I have a still one,
yeah.
but the still ones are super sweet.
Yeah, I'm out here shaking it like it's
Like
an
champagne.
orangina. You know what you can
Regina.
Oh, man.
We've been going for 2 hours
2
now, you
hours.
know.
Are we living 2 hours?
Yeah.
We're
Not even
That
2 hours and 8
conversation's
minutes.
flown
We need to
by.
actually get you into a part 2 because we still got more stuff
Yeah,
to
we
ask.
have.
Yeah.
Don't
We've been
worry.
touching the Black Lives Matter movement.
We're
Yeah.
back
Again
don't worry.
tomorrow.
Don't worry.
Mad.
But yeah, we've actually
We
literally
have
been
done 2
almost
hours, man.
2 hours
Busting
back to
jokes.
back. Food talk was almost like an hour on its own. It's got me feeling hungry in that.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
anyway, to end it off, what is next for Gaia GG3
Actually,
GP3?
Can we keep that for part 2?
Okay.
Because I feel like we have so much to touch up on.
Yeah, but we can do what's next for them, and then we can catch up, and then what's next again.
Yeah,
far we're gonna prolong
I
the
like
part
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Tomorrow?
no.
Does it? Man,
That's
No,
it
not
tomorrow.
We'll
Nah,
plan
it's
it,
not
we'll
tomorrow.
plan it.
Plan it.
We're active in it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, you're active.
We are busy though, booked and busy, both of us.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm so sorry, Mum and Dad. I'm not coming home this week. I'm just not. She said there's a party next Friday. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I really can't come home this weekend.
What's next? What's next for me? I just feel like, obviously I've graduated, I'm finding my feet in the city as like a non-student. I don't really think I've ever been a student anyway. Like my friendship group and like my social life and how I like admit myself in this city has never really been through LIPA or been through like being
Yourself.
at uni. So like, I don't know, just me and Hannah Lynch, big up Hannah Lynch, like we've just become really close recently, and she's another female DJ, and the respect's there, and we're setting up some DJ workshops at the Unity in Toxteth for young
That's big.
people, which is sick.
That's good.
And obviously from that, we'll hopefully like begin to kind of curate this like collective. We want to basically champion like the next generation
ones
of
coming
like
up.
female, especially
DJs,
female DJs, not really been that much support. When I started DJing, I messaged Hannah, which was really weird, being like, "Hi, like, I'm trying to be a DJ as well. Like, you're the only other female DJ in the city." So we're kind of doing
That's
that.
good though, because then
Yeah.
you've got your
We're
platform now.
trying to make like a
Yeah.
space. I've just started working at Kitchen Street as well, and they're really lovely. And they've literally said you can literally do whatever you want here. Like you can have the space. So it's sick to know that there's like a really like prestigious venue that will support what me and Hannah are going to do.
Same,
And obviously it's
Kitchen
kind of nice for the kids as well, like the courses that we're going to do to like build up to something like that. So like, okay, we'll do 4 weeks and like we'll teach you, and then the end goal is to like do something at Kitchen Street, which will be sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning at the moment. And just
What's that good? Yeah.
living life and just I don't know,
Oh,
just
you know.
That's big.
yeah, I'm a Scouser. I ain't leaving this city, man.
Wait. You need to get your fucking McQueens and new.
No. You know, I'm a shocks. I'm a
No,
And your little
Yeah.
puffy little puff sleeve.
That's how you need to
I
get
know.
that.
You need to start wearing
it's not
blazers
me.
and
I
nights
could
out.
never see you in
I'm
a bell
always
sleeve.
even at Top Boy. Do you know what was so mad at Top Boy? I had this like it was almost a little bit overwhelming. Like I had to go to the toilet. Like I had lashes on. Like I had my hair in a big ponytail, and I went to the toilet and I was just like,
This ain't you.
and I just went yeah.
Dash
yeah.
it off.
And I was like, I just feel so much more comfortable just being who
That's
I am.
how it
Like,
should be.
I don't need to. I like.
Period.
And obviously, like, and also, like, in terms of makeup, like, I'm not just there are some girl that makeup's an art, you know.
No,
the
it
way
is.
they just do, like,
That
I can't
control
do that.
business.
And I just looked at myself and I was just like, this might work for some of the people, but I was just like,
Doesn't
these
work
lashes,
for you.
they just feel mad on me, and I just took them off, and I was like, yeah. I was just like, and I just felt so much better. So
Do you know what I rate though? At least you're aware that this ain't for me.
Yeah.
Everyone
Nah, it's
else
not.
can do it, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna
I
be me.
genuinely, and I kept saying to Kiwi, I was like, something's not really feeling right. Like, this just isn't me. And like, in that space where like, the gal looked good.
Good.
At Top Boy. Top Boy. The girls
Hey, I
look
know
so
say,
good.
but it's set good.
Yeah, they look so good. Like, everyone, for Top Boy, you lot know, everyone scubs up well. Like,
Do you know what it is? I seen
And
a
I just
couple
thought
of
it was
snaps,
so
Mum was
sick.
like, yo, I saw a couple of bumpers.
That's what I was saying to this man.
Bundesliga.
That's what I say
no,
to you.
but I ain't match fit right now, man.
Yeah.
Yo,
I
man's
don't know.
on
I just feel
sabbatical.
like I'm just continuing to find myself in the city,
Pre-season.
doing what I
Choice.
can, establishing myself, and like, especially like, I've made the decision that I want to live here, and like, what can I do then now to like give?
to live here. And
Do you know what I mean? Give back and like, not establish myself, but do something. I need to do something.
Yeah, man.
And we did a podcast yesterday with Nat, and she read my birth chart at the end, and she was saying like, it was mad. I don't know how she got this information from like my birth location. Obviously, think what you want about it. It's controversial. Some people, Jacob, op. No, I'm joking. But she was saying like,
out of it.
what she got is like, she was like, your like happiness and your purpose is like, you're a people's person. You love helping people, and like, if I can use the skills that I've utilised, again, like someone taught me how to DJ. And now I can do that for someone
can give
else,
it
and
to someone
for
else.
other things, like not just creative base, but like opportunity, experience, work employment. Even at Kitchen Street, they're like, any black boys you know from Toxteth, get them in for a trial shift. Like we need to start doing better, and I think that's also something really sick as well. So yeah, I don't know, just continuing just to
Yeah, man.
do my thing.
Tell them to follow me a little bit.
No, I swear, we'll be pioneers of that as well.
Yeah,
Front
but
left
no,
will
that's
come
basically
through.
that's basically my next step. And if I can make money off it, that's great. But I was even saying to Kolade, like, I ain't ever getting this time back. Like, we're living together now. Like, I'll look back and be
lit.
like, do you remember in 2020 when the world was just mad? And we lived together and we just did nothing but laugh and just...
But that's
And
the
I'm a
thing.
control freak. You lot, like, I need routine, I need structure. Like, I can become a bit fanatic. And right now, like, I've got little jobs here and there, but I'm kind of enjoying it. Like, I don't really know what's next. And I think there's something
It's
quite
exciting.
special in that. Yeah. So, yeah, Kolade, go there.
So I guess next for me is, first of all, I'm obviously still in uni, so that's still there for
That
another 2
old thing.
years. Yeah.
But
I think
I think that's going to be so mad for you to go back to uni after all of this.
it's very mad.
Do you know what I mean? How mad is that?
Different, very
And he's done
different.
so much, bruv. There are people that are on the street in Liverpool that are coming out of shops. There's fuckers that we met in Manchester being like, oh my God, even now when I give people my Insta, they're like, oh my God, are you friends with that youth from the Black Lives Matter protest? Or like, you know him? Like, people don't realise how much he's done. And like, as a Londoner, again, same parallels, like, we've come and we've decided to live in the city. We've got to do
Yeah.
our thing. Our voices have to be, we're not Scousers, but we live here.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got a responsibility, especially as non-Scousers. Liverpool, historically, you lot have faced so much discrimination, so much marginalisation, and it's like, okay, well, now we've made the decision to come in as Londoners, as Southerners as well, and we're like, okay, well, we need to do our thing as well to begin to build this city and to champion it even
You have
more
the
than it already
energy of the
is.
people,
Yeah.
So,
So I just think, like, for you to go back to uni is going to be mad.
Very,
because,
very mad. Very mad.
And you've done a lot. In the last couple of months, like, it's mad. Like, what he's done, and I don't think you've, like, it's been a massive part. Vogue, British Vogue. This fucker was on the cover of British Vogue.
I saw it.
Do you know how mad that is?
I saw it.
ABC
Guardian
News,
were
BBC, The
posting
Guardian.
stuff,
The
I saw it.
Guardian.
I
We haven't
was
even
like,
spoken
bruh.
about that. Buster and
Part
Kerry.
two's coming,
have to
don't
come
worry.
back and-
Don't
Yeah,
worry.
we'll definitely talk about that. But
We'll
I
have
think
to be like proper now. It's Black Lives Left and just focus on that.
that'll be
Because we've got so many personalities and this conversation is
We're
really...
very-
I've
gone on
laughed,
for
I've
5
got
hours.
hungry, I've
Yeah,
dreamt
man.
of home. Like,
Right.
this is
Yeah,
really...
yeah.
But yeah, what's next for me is I think I always said to myself, especially when I turned 20, that this was going to be the hardest and the best year of my life, and it really, really has been this year. My
Why
academic.
20?
I don't know. I was feeling when I turned 20, I had just stopped talking to this person, and
Did you turn 20 this year?
I turned 20 last November, so I'm
last
turning 21
November.
this year, and I just went through like a phase of just like feeling really, really weird. And as I was approaching my 20, I was no longer a teenager. I was just like, this year's gonna be mad. I just felt within myself that this year was gonna be mad.
When you get to 20, 25, 20, you know what's actually a real thing? What did they call it now? Graduation depression.
Yeah.
Like, once you...
You're okay. You're
You're
yeah.
set.
Like,
Listen, I've had enough depression in my life to be good forever.
Right.
Forever.
Really and
Oh
truly.
yeah, when that after.
Yeah. It's the fear of the unknown. You've had a structure, you've had a routine, you know what you're doing, like, you've become so accustomed, and it's been habitual to be able to get up and be surrounded by people and have these kind of, like, in place, and then it's like, raw, what am I doing now? But I'm excited by it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't worry. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't worried. I was just sort of more like, okay, cool, let's see what's going on. And then loads of stuff happened. I said, but I think what's next for me is specifically more just, now that I've always known who I am, but just further not researching, but finding and evolving myself. And just deeper into the things that I've started, like activism. I don't like to say I'm an activism because I just like, that's what I believe in. It's my morals. I want to dig deeper into that. There's plans and stuff that I have for the future, which I won't touch on too much now. So I'll leave that for next chat. But yeah, they're just things I've been working on.
Don't
and want
feed
to
the
work on.
streets everything.
Exactly. Just a little. But I
keep them
think
one.
my main thing is just further pushing myself in other boundaries.
Before we close this, what's your thoughts of influencers talking on activism or all them kind of shit? Should we be forcing influencers
I
to
think,
talk?
and I say this to people who aren't influencers as well, I say, if you have a voice and you know what you're talking about, or what you're talking about is not acceptable, because you can say whatever the fuck you want to say, but I think it's very important if you have a group of an audience that you can touch and speak to. I think it's very important that you do. Of course, if you're some girl who just posts clothes or whatever, and you just have those followers for clout or whatever, then yeah, maybe necessarily you shouldn't be talking about it. And I don't think it's
Exactly what
I
I
don't think
said.
and I don't think it's fair. And I don't think it's fair for some of those girls, because some of those girls, unfortunately, they didn't mean to be influencers. They just love
It just
posting,
happened.
and it just
And it
happened. And I
happened.
don't think it's fair for some of them to talk about it.
Like, this is the thing.
But at the end of the day, sorry, just to say, if you do have a platform, you should be speaking to some level.
some level,
Yeah,
but not everybody should speak. Because it's as you said, you just follow them for like
Right.
fashion and stuff. Or
Like, please, but then there's times where if you've got loads of audience, you do need to let your audience know, like, look, I am for Black Lives Matter. That's something like that, at least.
I'm surprised that big fashion brands haven't been on the thing.
Yeah, it's
But
mad.
then you need to think as well. This is before we actually cut this off. Big fashion brands capitalize on black culture.
Always.
Way too much.
The K label.
Which label?
There's a K label, and they had a beautiful top, and it has like a double zip, and it had like this beautiful thing, and then this Australian brand literally copied it.
So did Pretty Little Thing have a makeshift like thing of it? Even Daily Paper. Daily Paper is a black-owned business.
Yeah.
I've been
I like
seeing.
Daily Paper.
I love Daily Paper. I'll give them all my money at this
Look,
point. That you need
you have
to
your-
fucking sponsor me because I'm running you every single.
You have a
fucking
top, a
penny in my
t-shirt,
account.
You're
a
wearing
dress,
glasses.
some
And
trousers,
Daily Paper
glasses,
is not
denim
cheap
jacket,
either.
It's not
corduroy
cheap,
jacket.
but
It's not
I don't
cheap.
mind. I, at this point in my life, like Pretty Little Thing,
It's fast fashion.
I'd rather give my money to Daily Paper and actually just. And I know that I'm going to wear the garms all the time as well.
Yeah.
But I've seen so many like the K label, like spin-offs or like really really similar stuff that's a lot cheaper, and then you need to think about, and I'm very guilty of it, it's so accessible. Like I've got PLT royalty, so I get it the next day. Like with our generation, it's immediate gratification.
Is that like
It's like
Oh,
ASOS,
so-
it's like
Yeah,
ASOS next door,
So
yeah.
like, yeah, Pretty Little Thing royalty is like you pay for a yearly,
For a year,
like
and then you
free
get
next
it
day
next day,
delivery.
yeah.
It's like, when do we want a parcel? Like, I want it tomorrow. And the fact that we can get that access and like a crop top is like £6. It's like only now, like I'm really beginning to be like, £6. Like, who the fuck's making that? Like, what conditions are they working in? Do you know what I mean? And I've definitely been ignorant and naive in the past to be like, "Rah, that top's £3. I'm fucking copping it." But
Yeah.
it's mad, isn't it? It's
But
mad.
this is what I'm saying, like what you just said, but they capitalize on like
Yeah, yeah.
you need to think like a lot of, especially our culture, are killing ourselves to buy designer, but they don't actually know that they're getting sponsored by these labels. These labels are giving them freebies, and then because you see people wearing like these Moncler jackets,
But
it's-
because they have a platform,
Yeah.
and because they can reach out to this audience, so
Yeah.
it should be the same. I think it should be the same as speaking out. Like,
Yeah.
it isn't like this isn't something that's like all politics or something that's controversial. Like, like we said, it is basic human rights. And if you have this platform to be able to influence people to buy drip, you have the platform to influence people to wake up
That's it.
and to
Mad, yeah.
do something with, especially now.
100%.
and that's why I rate Tommy Hilfiger. Like Tommy Hilfiger,
Yeah,
does
Cock and I.
yeah, for like the black brands, and like
Aaliyah.
the others don't really do much. But yo, I think that's us.
Yeah, before
And
you
that's
man
2 minutes
keep
and
on
20 minutes. That's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I know, man.
Right.
Your man was
We
ready
can
to
chat
go.
as well. You lot should have
I know.
known, but if you got me and Kolade on a
yeah.
pod,
But we can talk.
in
to-
it,
Done 2 2-hour podcasts.
in it, man. We better shut up.
If we had
Really and
carried on,
truly.
we'd have been here till tomorrow, swear
Innit?
down.
Nah,
Safe
for
bet.
real,
But
so.
part 2 will be coming, people, so
Defo.
stay
Stay
tuned.
watch.
Before we leave anyway, plug your socials.
You go first. Gaia.
What's my Instagram. Fucking hell. At GA. This is what I mean, Gaia.
Listen.
GAIA_IA G33.
There we go. Also known as G33.
G33 in the building.
Find her on what song? Have you SoundCloud?
SoundCloud is just G33.
G33.
And it's so mad because everyone's like, G33. And I'm like, it's just,
G33.
do you know what it is? It's G. But then I was like, that's just boring, innit? So we just put the G like.
As a
The other
three.
way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a 3. No, it makes
So there
sense.
you go. But yeah, Gaia.
Kolade.
My social is Kolade Tiladipo, which is KOLADETLADIPO. That's my Instagram and my Twitter and my YouTube channel. I would give my Snapchat, but really and truly, that's only for my best friends.
It's cool. Anyway, all the arts and all the what's the word I'm looking for? Socials. Went blank for a sec. All the socials are going to be on the description for everyone to find anyway.
Sick.
Thank you for having us.
Big up Jacob as well.
No
I
problem.
love you, Jacob. I just think you're sick.
Thank you so much.
I
Thank
love
you
this
so much.
room as well. Like, it's just so
It's
hard.
like second home now
Liverpool
already,
Podcast
isn't
Studios. You don't know
Thank you
now
for having
you know.
us every
Get to
time.
know.
Love.
That's the Front Left podcast. The whole world.
Thank you.